didn't tell you we're taking next week off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome. Hey, B-Al. Thought I knew you were going to be the first one in here.
Al, don't miss, as the kids say.
He never miss. Hey, Paul. Hey, Adam Hill. Kevin, the Raider Nerd.
Kev?
What's up, Kev? Desert Raider.
What's up, Desert Raider?
Desert Raider. Jay Boulevard. Matthew Mangus. Intel. What's up, my man? Daniel Mangus. John Ogle.
Got the all-star team in there.
Oh, my gosh. Carl Howard. What's up, my friend? Hey, Jordan Ford. Hey, Herman Munster. Oh, my gosh.
Just in time for Halloween.
That's right.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we were just talking about you, Herman. Raider Mania. Says thanks for all that you guys and gals do.
Aw.
Thank you for doing what you do, being here.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
That's really the hardest thing.
That
So,
right?
I
Yeah,
appreciate
it is.
that.
Got to show up.
That's
We
right.
appreciate you.
Hey, Leo.
All right, here we go. Let's kick it off. It's episode number 343 of Raiders Fan Radio.
What's up, guys? Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Kolesnikov, a leaking pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down. Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory. The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio. Take it away, guys.
Why, thank you, Brent Musburger. What is up, Raider Nation? Please tell me if you can't hear me. Please tell me if you can. I appreciate you joining us here for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 343 of Raiders Fan Radio, coming to you live from Murf's Fan Cave, otherwise known as the bonus room, as the kids say here, at Casa del Murf. And so we appreciate all of those of you that are joining us live in the chat room tonight. Appreciate Ron the Materator's in there. What's up? Gil is in there. Let's see, Paul Edgerton is in there. Jordan Ford. Howard, Swag Jeff, I don't know who that guy is. Chris is in there.
knucklehead.
What's up, Chris?
What up, sweetheart?
Carl Howard is in there. John Ogle is in there. Appreciate Mark Salter being in there. Appreciate Leo being in there. Appreciate Intel being in there. Herman Munster, shout out freaking Halloween coming up. Yeah. Appreciate you very much for being in there. Adam Hill, Daniel Mangus, man, so many of our good folks. Jay Boulevard, Kevin the Raider Nerd, B.Al. Appreciate all of those of you so very, very much.
Whoa.
And, wow,
Oh,
how about
dang.
this? How about some respect at the top of the show?
Jeez.
Our buddy Intel dropping $100 in there.
No, he dropped $200 in
200.
there.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, then
Double.
we clapped twice.
Oh,
That's
my
right.
gosh.
Brother, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Big
He says,
time.
thank you for all you do and how you support the nation. One love, man. Back at you, man. My goodness. Like that's incredible, man. Thank you so very, very much for that. For those of you that are new around here, we have a nonprofit associated with Raiders Fan Radio. It's called the One Nation Foundation, and we give that money, all money, raised with the show, away 100% to Raiders-related charities, like the good folks at Raider Dad, who you're going to hear a lot about tonight as we cover our tailgate and the game we went to over the weekend, and then also what we're doing next month when we're going to see the Bolitnikovs, and we're going to hand a check for $10,000 to Angela and Fred Bolitnikov to support their foundation, the Bolitnikov Foundation, who are they're protecting young women at domestic violence risk and substance abuse, and giving them a safe space, giving them rehabilitative services. It's an absolutely amazing foundation, an absolutely amazing charity, and again, as Raider Dad is as well. And so that that $200 that you just gave to us there, Intel, that is going to go support those charities. And I thank you enough for that, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's incredible.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible.
Jordan Ford says now 10,200.
Oh, nice,
Hey, we
nice.
got to have something in the hopper for next year.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But man, that is amazing, man. Thank you so very, very much. We appreciate you. All right. So for those of you new to the show, my name is Murf. And if you want to find us here on the YouTubes, you can find us just by going to the YouTubes at youtube.com/RaidersFanRadio, or you can go to any audio podcast service and you can hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit a thumbs up, rate it, review it, subscribe to it there. We appreciate those of you that listen to us. And we hear from you a lot. There's a lot of folks that we just hear from that only listen to us on the audio when they're doing goat yoga or painting their house or, you know what I mean, mowing the lawn. We're the most mowed to Raider podcast that's out there right now. I don't know if you guys know that.
That's
Wow.
huge.
It's kind of a big
I did
deal.
not know that.
And we're coming to the end of mowing
Wow.
season, the beginning of football season. So I don't know what those folks are going to do then. I don't know if you just ride around on your mower and just not
Just sitting in the
Maybe
garage.
just drink a
not
beer.
drink a beer,
Yeah.
not engage the blade, just cruise around the yard.
Yeah, man.
Just listen to Raiders
do
Fan Radio.
that.
Absolutely. Jordan Ford says, what's goat yoga? Apparently it's a thing because we had a lady one time that sent us a video of her listening. It was back then it was just me and Uncle Mosh. And it was a video, it was like on Instagram or something. And she's doing yoga and there's a bunch of goats in the studio with her.
Yeah.
And she's listening to this show. Like,
Yeah,
we were
goat
like-
yoga's
That's so
wild.
fun.
They'll jump on your back, like, and you have to
Oh,
like
yeah.
focus and that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done it, but it seems. Well, I couldn't focus if it was a goat on my back. So. That's wild.
Appreciate also Jay Boulevard is in there with a $5 donation.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jay. Says the best Raiders show in the world.
You're
That's
too
very
kind.
kind. I don't know
Too
about
kind.
that, man, but we'll take the praise and we thank you very much for that. It's very kind of you to say so. But man, thank you so much for all the amazing donations. We're going to talk a little bit about again what our year looked like, what we're looking for, going to look like going into this next year. But I'm going to leave that to my buddy Swag Jeff to talk to you about that. And so let's go ahead and shout him. Boy, I'll get through this show.
Yeah, you will.
You're
I
not
need
even
another.
drinking.
I know. I was going to say.
Yeah, you're not even drinking
I know
tonight.
I'm drinking tea. Ugh. But maybe that's why. I'm like, do you guys ever watch? I'll say here. I'll quick digression. Do you ever watch the show WKRP? Have you ever
Oh,
heard of the
gosh,
show
yeah.
WKRP?
For sure, for sure.
Baby, if you ever wondered.
Yes,
Yes,
that's it. Okay.
one of my favorite shows.
Oh my gosh! So Dr. Johnny Fever is on the air, and they're doing this. So he's got a police officer in there with him, and they're doing this exercise with the DJs in the booth, where they're giving them a shot every like 10 minutes, and they have to do these like skill tests, like put these different shaped blocks and the holes on the board, all that kind of stuff. So as all the other DJs are going slower and slower and slower, Dr. Johnny's going faster and faster and faster.
Oh,
The-
nice.
The drunker he gets, the faster he gets. It's pretty
Nice.
funny. So yeah, I think I'm the Dr. Johnny Fever Raiders fan.
All right.
Anyways, without further ado, my best friend and yours, Swag Jeff.
Yay!
It's styling and profiling.
That was a freaking Uncle Mosh level digression I just went on there.
You sure did. Yeah, you sure did, man. Yeah, it got me feeling nostalgic a little
was
bit.
worth
Yeah,
it,
missing
though.
Uncle Mosh
You
for
want to
sure.
hear about stickball?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding, man, for sure. So, but man, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of an episode of Raiders Fan Radio that I remember.
Oh,
Because I don't remember 342 because I was just post pool action there in Vegas, and so so that was it was a rough show, as the kids say.
No, it wasn't
It was
rough.
a
You did a
great
great
show.
job.
Ah, well,
No one could even tell that y'all had been drinking. If they
Okay.
were also drinking.
Well, maybe that's true.
Maybe that-
maybe
that
that's
is
true.
probably
That
the
is
truth.
Maybe
of it,
that's
yeah.
true,
Yeah.
but I'm fired up to be here. I can't wait to talk about our most recent trip to Vegas and all that stuff. We're going to be talking about rosters and all sorts of fun stuff tonight, so I can't wait to get into all that. But Murph, we don't do the show alone.
Heck no, we don't.
No, thank goodness for that. So sitting over here to my left, joining the southern annex of the eastern annex of the Murph Fan Cave desk, please welcome in the lovely Michelle Sweat.
Hey, Michelle.
I'm fresh from the beach. I'm ready for football.
Oh,
Listen,
yes.
I am. Now I've been to the beach. Bring on fall. I don't
Yeah.
need any more of this damn heat. It's
Yeah.
so freaking
Well, and
hot
talk
out
about
there.
your, and talk about your hair.
Oh
You
yeah, okay,
showed
so
up with a new
I
do
sure did.
and everything.
I went to black because I needed to stop bleaching it for a while. So and I was black a long time ago. So I just went.
And you
back.
can't do silver and black.
Can't do silver and black because that looks like gray.
Yes.
So
Okay. Yeah.
here we go. I'm
All
black.
right.
My
Nice.
hair's black now.
Glad to have you back.
Nice, nice.
All right, and hey, I've got another one to shout out there in the old chat room, as the kids say.
Okay.
Look at that, Fabricator Gillen over there. $20 donation says, I'm proud to hear my boys and Michelle at RFR. Thank you, Gil. It was good to see Gil at the Raider Dad Tailgate this past weekend. And I'm sure Jeff will shout that out as we get into it. But before we get into the respect segment and start talking about the weekend and the upcoming weekend, let's first hear from Swag Jeff as he takes our episode number.
Today, Junior.
As he takes our episode number and ties it into something significant within Raider Nation. And so for 343, Swag Jeff, who do you got?
Oh my gosh! Well, we don't have to go.
I'm stumbling more than you did at the post-pool podcast.
Oh my gosh! No kidding, man. No kidding. So this one, we're not going back.
Okay. Well, how far are you going back?
Not far at all. And it goes a little something like this. Hit it. That was so stupid. Sorry. But we're going back to 2023 because we're going to be highlighting the guy that took over at the second half of the season. That is Aiden O'Connell.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had 213 completions for 62.7% completion percentage for 2,218 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. But more importantly, guys, he had 343 passing attempts.
Hey, there you go. Good one, Jeff.
Well, yeah, thank you. Because you found it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I could have let you do that.
I could have done it.
You could have done it.
I mean, I sort of did it for
we'd still be in
200
it.
episodes.
We'd still be in it.
Shut up. You want to hear more about 70s sitcoms?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Well, you want to hear? You want to talk about the Thanksgiving
Talk about
episode?
The Greatest American Hero. I loved that show.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. That's why, Jeff, who could it be?
Believe it or not, it's just me. Oh, my gosh.
God, I love that song.
Oh, it's good. Get the contact info, Jeff. Let's start talking about the Raiders.
Please, let's do that.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Hey, Raider Nation! We've got your old Uncle
Good one,
Mosh
Michelle.
here with
God, I
an
love it.
updated contact info.
Fabricator Gil
sit
says
up,
just
zip
WTF.
Up, shut up and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murf would say it, 909-345-3346. How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes? Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. The Twit at Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. Insta something. Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio.
Tiki tiki taki talk.
TikTok at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about the Twitch? Some of you out there twitching. Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube. America, go to the YouTube. YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good. Nicely done.
on.
Nicely done.
Wow.
Beautiful.
All right, so here at the top of the show, we don't give props. We don't do shout outs. There's nothing wrong with those things, but we're Italian. We like to give a little bit of respect.
Murf, Swaggy J, Nation, it's time for a little respect. You know, respect ain't bought, it ain't sold, it ain't demanded, it ain't negotiated, it's earned. And without blowing smoke or giving shameless plugs, we want to say salute and much respect to the following folks.
Kevin the Raider Nurse talking about the WKRP turkey drop. That's what I was trying to bring up.
That's a good one.
I have that
turkey drop.
T-shirt. I have a WKRP turkey
you really?
drop T-shirt.
Do you really?
I do.
They're
That's
falling
awesome.
from the sky like wet sacks of cement. So funny. Sweet old Les Nessman. Respect Les Nessman. There you go. There you go.
Respect.
Okay, so here we go at the top of the show. We like to give a little bit of respect, and so I got one. There's a little bit of it's a internal one here. Okay.
Okay.
So a good friend of ours, Hooligan Nation, okay, has an affiliate. Here you go. Yeah, let me hold the patch up. Thank you. Has got an affiliation with the fine folks at the Home Depot. Okay. So and he organized for us Home Depot to give us to our foundation a freaking like an employee match, like a donation to the foundation.
Oh,
like,
very cool. Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
very kind. So he on our last show, that when we were at the post pool thing, I made a comment about watching some of the players on the field are some of the guys that are going to be working at Home Depot in 2 weeks. And he was like, "Hey, take it easy on the Home Depot." Brother, that is not a knock against Home Depot. All I'm trying to illustrate is that when you're watching the third preseason game, that the guys you're watching on the field most likely are going to be working a day job like the rest of us in a couple of weeks. It doesn't in the knock at the. You could insert any company in there, UPS or Bridgestone or Kroger or what, you know what I mean? Pick a company.
Should we just say Lowe's now?
Well, I don't know, because I like Home Depot. But anyway,
Well, I know, but I'm saying, but if he said that we were slamming him for Home Depot,
would it be
then
better if
it'd
we
be better if we just slam Lowe's?
Saying working at Lowe's, yeah. I don't know.
Home
But anyways,
Depot
but
rules,
that's all
first of all.
That's what I'm saying,
Because
man.
of their Halloween.
Their Halloween
their
stuff
Halloween
is
drops are the best.
Come on.
I love Home
Absolutely.
Depot.
Yeah, it's
Shout
good.
out. Home
Absolutely.
Depot.
So yes, shout out Home Depot. Much respect to our good friend Hooligan Nation. So not a knock, I promise.
Never.
So was that respect or was that an apology?
Sounded like both.
No, I'm giving respect to him and the Home Depot.
Oh, just the Home Depot itself.
They sponsored our show, our foundation.
No,
So
no, we
did.
love
It's
that.
true.
we
about
love that. So
we love that
respecting
about them.
Yeah.
No, good.
And he's the one that organized it. So respect.
Respect for sure. Respect for sure. So my respect is going to this past week.
Jordan Ford says, "Oh, I'm not gonna beat myself. So if you got kids in the car, earmuffs, you should do Ace Hardware. Those fucks."
Jeez.
I feel like that was personal.
Yikes. Got a case of the ass for Ace Hardware.
That's pretty funny. All right,
Oh
sorry.
my
go ahead,
gosh.
Joe.
Let's see. So my respect goes to this past weekend, this past Friday, the Raider Dad Tailgate. The Raider
Oh
Dad
my
Tailgate
gosh,
in its
come on,
entirety.
dude.
Much respect to all the good folks at Raider Dad. That's Josh Camonite. Respect to Jay's Gourmet. All that stuff. All the workers that were there. Kevin the Raider Nerd was out there, Fabricator Gil, who we were fortunate enough to sit with at the game. So much respect to the both of you guys. But Gorilla Rilla was out there, and Violator was out there, and who else? Who were some of the other super fans that were out
Raider
there?
Rock, Plague Raider, Hollywood Raider. There was all kinds of.
There
them
was
out there.
all sorts of them out there, and they were all just taking pictures with the kids because that's what it was all about. It was creating an amazing experience, core memories for all these kids and their parental figures that were at the game, at the tailgate, all that stuff. So much respect to all you guys. Respect to Nick Walters and channel
KNTV.
There you go, and that was channel 13.
Channel 13 in Vegas,
yep, absolutely. And they interviewed you and Josh, which was fantastic, and just bringing light to Raider Dad itself and the One Nation Foundation being a part of that as well. So it was just an amazing experience. We're so glad to just be just a small part of what Raider Dad is going on. And frankly, and we talked about it a little bit, Raider Dad is just going to outgrow the One Nation Foundation like
I think
crazy.
So.
You know, I mean,
they're going to outpace us, and I hope they do.
And I hope they do because their mission is absolutely incredible, and we love to be a part of that. So much respect to the entire tailgate experience and all that stuff and everyone that was there.
Absolutely, and if you haven't seen that clip, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel there. Just hit it up there, and it's the One Nation Foundation on KNTV, whatever there.
Yeah.
And you could see the segment. It's about 3-minute segment, and it gets so heartwarming at the end, man. Like it's incredible. And so definitely go check that out if you haven't had a chance to see that yet. And yeah, so much respect. It's one of those things where we could do an entire podcast thanking everybody. Jay's Gourmet, did you talk about Jay?
I did.
Yeah, Jay's out there cooking for everybody, and the Raisin Canes folks were out there, and just all the volunteers that come together for Camonite. You talk about 44 kids and their parental figures that are all going to the game, and like all the people that donated their tickets.
Oh my gosh, we could hardly talk to Josh the entire time at the tailgate because he's transferring tickets to families and all that kind of stuff. And then I forgot to mention the friggin' Marvel guys were out there. They're taking pictures with the kids with the superheroes and all that stuff.
And Batman was there. Show respect.
And
DC
Batman
too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good for Batman.
You're damn right good for Batman.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, Michelle. Who you
All right,
got?
Michelle, who you got?
Okay, so since preseason is over, I would like to respect the fans that understand what preseason is, and it doesn't mean that the season's over. And
Come on. Thank you.
People that know how to talk about the evaluation of players and those kind of things, and not just think the sky is falling. So respect to those people, because those are fun people to talk to. They are not on X, just in case you were wondering.
Okay. The ones that aren't on
there.
X.
They're
Okay.
not,
They're not there.
Yeah.
Good,
Well,
good.
unless
you're Murf.
I'm all over
You
the X.
understand.
Yeah.
that,
You love the X.
I love
you
the X. I'm all over
love
that.
it. You
I'm
are
all about
over
that.
it. You're
Yeah, you
all
are.
over it.
All up in that X.
You're all up in that X.
Lest we remind folks.
All up in that X.
Get up in that X, bro. Damn.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, Josh McDaniels won 6 games in 2 seasons in the
Thank
preseason.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never forget the year that the Raiders went 2-16. We won all 4 preseason games. And I remember seeing Warren Sapp on NFL Network, and they were like, "How important is it, or is it important at all to win games in the preseason?" And he was like, "It really establishes a winning culture, and it's really important for the locker room." Blah blah blah. They won 2 games in the regular season. The preseason outcomes don't matter. What matters is, like what Michelle said, is the evaluation of talent. What is the decision making? What those types of things. Not only the athletic prowess, but what's the decision making? What's the decision making for the coaches? You know what I mean? And I loved and we'll talk about it when we get there. But maybe we might as well do it now. I don't know. We don't really have it as a spot on here, so let's just talk about some of the decision making Antonio Pierce made towards the end of the game, because when they went that chance to go for it on 4th down or to kick the short field goal, right? To give them what was a 3-point lead, I think at the time.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And they chose to go for it. Or was it to tie? I can't remember. Whatever the situation was.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to do something significant just by kicking the field goal. I think it was to tie it. And they didn't. They chose to go for it on 4th down. And I said to Jeff, I'm like, yeah, because they don't want to go into overtime. My dumb ass. I didn't even realize they couldn't go to overtime.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't either.
But then they go, and when they had a chance to tie the game at the end of the game, they kicked the damn field goal. Now, granted, I'm very happy that they did, because a couple degenerate gamblers I know bet on the preseason game and took the Raiders on the money line. And so being that it was a tie game, it's a push and we got our money back.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, if the Raiders would have won, it would have been really good. It would have made for a great weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they were heavy underdogs, which is why we bet the money line. But anyways,
Right.
but point being though is that I liked it that at the end he was like, no, let's go ahead and tie this damn thing up.
Yeah.
He knew they were going to the locker room. You know what I mean? He's like, let's just go ahead and tie this thing up. That way we don't take the L. It saves face a little bit, but wasn't necessarily a competitive action. It was more just like a show, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was fine. And when you look at the way that because Pierce got crushed about that whole timeout thing in the last game and all that stuff. And so the idea that he operated smoothly, it's like our seats with Gil, man, shout out those seats, man. They're right there,
Gil,
man.
yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Your 40-yard line, the Raiders are right there, 25 rows in front of you. And you can see the way that the sidelines are operating. It wasn't chaotic. Everybody was in the right spots. You had a lot of the starters were in street clothes. And so you kind of saw them and then watch them interact with the guys and supporting the different position groups and all that. And so even though a lot of those guys didn't get a lot of time on the field, guys like Max Crosby and obviously Devontae and then Brock Bowers, they were right in the huddles, in the positional huddles.
For sure.
Like in the mix of everything. Like everybody was invested and it was a smooth freaking working machine there, man. Didn't you think so, Jeff?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And, and I love that. And we're going to get into it when we talk a little bit more about roster stuff, but I love the guys that showed out and they were rewarded. For sure. I mean, there's a couple from this past game that we just saw that I think that game was the reason why they're on the team today.
Agree.
So, so I thought they had a good game plan coming in. The second and third string guys held their own, I think, against the Niners starting guys. And so, because
the Niners are a Super Bowl favorite, y'all.
They're a Super Bowl favorite, and all their starters were playing. Kittle was catching passes and
he was lighting
it up for sure. But it was our second and third string guys. So I think, for what it was, at the time we were kind of stressing about it because, like you said, we had money on the game and we're like, oh geez, this could get ugly.
No wonder we were such big underdogs.
This could get ugly quick or whatever.
It was funny. I had somebody come at us on the X or whatever, and they're like, I can't believe you guys didn't know that they weren't playing their starters. I'm like, dude, we were in Vegas with our charity. I'm like, I'm not sitting on my phone, looking at all the latest up-to-date news on the game. Like, we had some other things going on. It's like, come on, man, I didn't know. And then, you know what? I wouldn't have done anything different.
I wouldn't have done it different either.
Because we just did it to have fun. It wasn't like we were doing it to make the mortgage. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks, Camaro Guy 69 on Twitter.
Hey, for sure. Michelle, so tell us a little bit. So you weren't there, but you watched the game.
I watched it from home.
Tell us kind of what your thought was on
I actually watched also because I knew you guys had bet, so I was hoping. And then when I saw that it was starters versus not our starters, I was like, oof. Get really ugly really fast. Yeah. And it never did. I was really impressed with how they hung in there. Nobody really gave up. If I'm going against George Kittle, I'm probably going to be like, well, whatever. But they didn't. They didn't give up. They did their best. And even into, when Carter Bradley, when he came in, he was really impressive to watch. And so it was a good game from start to finish.
It was. It was pretty entertaining to watch.
It
was fun.
Yeah.
And
I'm a preseason game.
Right. You're right. Within context of the preseason.
Exactly.
But I thought in the beginning too, it was really interesting. And the point that you make about they were able to hold their own against, because when you see Brock Purdy out there and you see, I'm like, they're going to march on us.
Gosh.
This is going to get ugly fast. And they didn't. And so
didn't we intercepted Purdy, right? That Chris Smith interception, that was a Purdy pass, right?
It was really Purdy.
It was a Purdy pass.
Purdy pass. Absolutely.
Really Purdy.
All right, Swag Jeff. Go ahead and shout out the chat room. Hit us an audio break, and then let's talk about this depth chart, man.
Okay, let's do that. My beautiful wife is in there.
Hi, Chris.
Fabricator Gil, Paul Edgerton, Stacy Ruff, SoCal Sal, Jesus of Alum Raider John, Jordan Ford, Kenny Clark, Ron the Mater Raider, Raider 27, East Coast Raider, Van City Raider. Let's see here.
This chick got Hooligan Nation super chat. Read that.
His super chat?
Yeah, and first off, respect Hooligan Nation for that $20. Thank you, sir.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, he says here's to cutting players and filling open positions at my store so I can stop doing interviews. Nice. Nice, for sure.
Love it. That's what I'm talking about.
For sure, man. Let's see. SoCal Sal's in there. Leo's in there. Carl Howard's in there. My dad's in there.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey. Memo Live is in there. Kevin the Raider Nerd is in there. Robert Pena's in there. We got the whole crew, man. Yeah, there's 89 people in the building, man.
Oh, that's
respect.
awesome, man. Appreciate
Much
that.
respect.
Appreciate that.
All right, now I'm going to push a button.
Push the button, nerd.
Hey, Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
Did you see what Ron
Goes
said
down
about
as
you?
Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
He's not wrong.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Will Compton. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with my boys Murf, Swaggy Jeff, and Uncle Mosh. Tune in because they fucking put out a banger podcast.
Your dad in there, Swaggo, says kudos to all the penis jokes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Very
That-
cocksure of him.
There,
Hey, see what I did there? Well, I know he'll think that's funny.
Oh, he'll love that shit.
All right. So appreciate everybody being here tonight. And so let's talk about this this depth chart that came out. So here
Yes.
we go. I've got it in my hands here.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
All right. So here we go with the depth chart. So the depth chart tells us. So here's what I'm going to. Attaboy, Jordan Ford.
Nice.
So, okay. Have you guys had a chance to
Went
look
from
at the depth
midnight
chart
to
yet?
6.
I did look through it, yes.
You did. Okay. So some, I wouldn't say surprises, but some changes already from when I printed this morning.
Yeah.
I think we've already seen some things. So is Bryant Young listed on here?
Byron Young?
Excuse me. Yeah. Byron Young. Yes, he sure is. So cross his name off the list. Originally, he was listed as backing up John Jenkins, but that young man has been released. So there you go, Hooligan. There's another interview
we
for
picked
you.
up somebody in his place. I can't remember who it was, but we signed it.
Luau from the Colts.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go. Yep. So we picked him up, and listen, guys, with all the latest cuts and the other stuff was going on as we were getting the show together and all that. So we may be a little off the mark on some of the most recent additions, but I didn't see any big names. It wasn't like we were signing any big name players or anything. But I know we signed a guy from the Chargers that got drafted this year. Because I saw somebody make a comment and be like, "Oh, there's Telesco going after Chargers." Yeah, except he was drafted this year.
Yeah.
except he wasn't.
He's a corner, right?
He's a corner, yeah. And then we signed a safety from somewhere. Anyways, you guys know who they are.
Yeah.
But let's go on the depth chart. So Michelle, top of the list here, wide receiver, Devontae Adams. No big surprise there. But here's a guy we're going to talk a lot about later. Number 32 is he's listed as a third stringer, but he's listed behind Devontae, and that is Tyreek McAllister,
yeah.
Come on,
who had a
dude.
big old game,
Showdown.
man.
Yeah, he
Talk
did.
about that, Michelle.
Yeah, it was. He was one of the highlights. Like that was.
Yeah.
He was just an exciting player to watch. Like every time the ball was in his vicinity, you knew he was going to be good for whatever was going on. So I'm watching that return. Like, oh man, I was
Yeah.
like, oh hell yeah, this is exactly what the Raiders need.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, and then not to mention the touchdown pass
and
that he
that one
caught as
catch
well.
where he, like,
and he had to
contorted his
come back
body.
and adjust to it and
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah.
he was freaking
That made
balling.
my back hurt. Like
know.
I threw something out just watching that.
I know.
God,
I know.
He must
Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah,
a lot.
he was a big baller
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then backing him up is Raymel Keaton, who's the other guy. Like when after the game, we're like 32 and 82 had such amazing games there with Carter Bradley delivering the football, man. And so awesome to see both those young men make the roster. And I think absolutely, we talked about it earlier in the chat room, was talking about it. They made the roster on this game.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
if you're out there trying to tell me that you were on Twitter and otherwise pontificating about these two young men before that game happened, no, you weren't.
No, you
Then
weren't.
no one else was looking for them at all. But they showed out, and so a testimony to them and much respect to them for absolutely earning their roster spots and outplaying guys like Guyton and you know what I'm saying?
Well, and
Like,
Wilkerson was kind of a favorite that what's his name? Christian Wilkerson.
Yeah.
A
He's
lot of people
gone.
thought he
he was listed like right after like Trey Tucker.
Yeah.
He was like the fourth receiver.
Yeah,
if I'm not
and we
mistaken.
did just sign him to the practice squad. He made it through
Oh, did
waivers,
he?
and he is on the practice squad. I've got
Okay.
the list of the practice squad.
You
guys.
do?
Okay.
Oh,
I do.
Good.
Oh, you know what? Go ahead and hit those. Did Carter make it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
good. I
Yeah.
thought because getting back to the X, I'm like, oh, Carter's gonna make it. I'm like, it's Carter Bradley season. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I think another guy that earned his roster spot there, and of course, so immediately people come back. Well, you got waived. My idea wasn't that because with the rule in the NFL now, you can't carry three You can't get the exemption for your emergency quarterback on your 53-man roster. So that means that your third quarterback is going to be on P squad. Well, that's what nobody's thinking he's going to usurp freaking.
Well, you say nobody. There were people that probably were thinking.
He was going to pass up Aiden O'Connell or something. Yeah,
they are on X.
Okay, all right, those people are.
They
are. Aside from those people, no one in their right mind was thinking that was going to happen. The logical place for the young man was the P squad, and he again absolutely earned it. And shout out Jeff Murphy and the group of 5 guys who told us about Carter Bradley, because they covered those group of 5 schools, and they're like, here's one of the guys that we saw at the Senior Bowl, and he's somebody to watch in the NFL. And now, sure as shit, 3 months later, the guy's on P squad running it for the Raiders.
Yep.
And you know what? If he keeps going at the same trajectory that he's on now, and Aiden or Gardner, whatever, somebody ain't carrying their weight when it comes to next year, guess what? You might see Carter Bradley as their second quarterback. Yeah, heck yeah, man.
100%. So Christian Wilkerson, another wide receiver, Alex Bachman, Jalen Guyton, Carter.
Oh, he got signed to P squad too, huh?
He did.
Okay, that's a guy I think that his job. He can thank Keaton or freaking or McAllister.
Or McAllister.
Yep.
100%. Carter Bradley, Matthew Butler, Charles Snowden, David Agoa, Will Putnam, the center.
Okay.
Phelan Sanford, Dalton Wagner.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep. Ben Brown, John Samuel Schenker, and Sam Webb, and Sincere McCormick.
Good. Well, I like Sam Webb, and I know that you and Graff and everybody else loves Sincere McCormick.
Oh, he's great.
Snowden was another name that kept popping up through the game. I was like,
defensive end.
He was
balling out too.
Yeah, he sure was.
Yeah.
He was balling out too.
Didn't he got at least 1 sack, right? Did he get 2?
I think he
can't remember.
I think he had a sack.
Was it just a sack?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Because we were getting to Purdy. We were putting pressure on Purdy.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
But that Gainer guy was the one that I was fired up about.
Gainer. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Continue down the offensive depth chart here. Of course, Colton Miller, but backing him up is Andrus Peat. I don't feel good about that one, man.
I don't feel great.
I don't feel great about that. I know he's got versatility and can play guard, which is where he played, in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
But man, he got Aiden O'Connell destroyed on that.
Sure did
in that first game. Okay, Cody Whitehair at left guard. I think that's a temporary move there because you got JPJ backing him up, and so I think that's going to change. Maybe even by week 1. We might see that
the first series.
Right, absolutely. So then we got Andre James all by himself there at center, which then he's going to stay there all year long. Then we got Dylan Parham backed up by Jordan Meredith at right guard. And then everybody's guy, Thayer Munford, man, makes it at right tackle. And then DJ Glaze.
Glaze came along big time, dude.
Big time, man. He's really had an excellent camp and preseason, and it wouldn't surprise me to see that young man stepping in if Thayer doesn't, or see him jump because he can play guard too. DJ Glaze can, and that's the thing that's really cool about all these linemen is that they about all of them can play 2 positions.
Yeah,
so which is super handy.
Which is probably why we're not carrying another center. Because Dylan Parham can also play center. So we've got a lot of these guys that are able to shift around the line a whole lot, which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of what they're preaching right now.
Absolutely. All right, then you got tight end, starting 2 tight ends, man. Absolutely. It's going to be Michael Mayer and Brock Bear. Slam dunk. And then Harrison Bryant backing them up. Interesting. You only got 3 tight ends. So a lot of times in the older versions of special teams, you saw a lot more tight ends. Now we're seeing a lot more linebackers. You know what I mean? It's very interesting the way that this new special teams rule has changed the way that these rosters look. And when you start looking at some of the positions that they're heavy on, when we get there, we're going to go over it, but it really is amplifying the return game, but then also the coverage game.
Right.
Like, do you have guys, you know what I mean, that are dogs that can go out there and can tackle in short spaces and not give up? Because now, if you give up a corner, or you know what I mean, if you give up your lane or whatever, they're gone. Just like we saw McAllister do.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't take much. All right, so you're starting wide receiver on the other side. Of course, it's Jacoby Myers. It's backed up, which is basically the slot position. Is Trey Tucker there, and then DJ Turner. I love seeing that. Love seeing that young man get his shot.
And that's six wideouts, which is probably another reason why we're only keeping 3 tight ends.
Exactly.
You know, when you have 7 linebackers and 6 wide receivers, like what you just talked about with the friggin' special teams game, you know, that's what you got to do.
Well, and to jump over to it, just to talk about it. So we haven't talked about running backs yet, but your kick returner is Amir Abdullah, but your punt returner is Trey Tucker. So one of your starting slot receiver, a la Hunter Renfrow, is your punt returner. Well, DJ Turner is the one right after Amir Abdullah, and Amir Abdullah is the one right after Trey Tucker in terms of the punt returns, and then Dylan Lobby is your alternate there for the kick return. But so there you go. So it's like,
and that's going to change. I think McAllister will jump into one of those spots, right?
Probably. I think that the other guys have kind of earned it, especially like Abdullah being the senior man and all that stuff.
That's true.
But I mean, but I think that this stuff is going to be fluid all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to go with whoever has the hot hand. And if McAllister's got the hot hand, they're going to stick with it.
Yep.
All right. Of course, you're starting quarterbacks. Too bad no one's talking about these guys. I heard nobody on Twitter's talking about our starting quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Minshew Mania, baby. And then Aiden O'Connell there, of course, backing him up. And then running backs. No surprise.
Nope.
Zamir White, Madison, then Amir Abdullah, and then your guy Dylan Lowby. I think we're going to see a lot of split carries. I want to hear from you guys and you two chat room. The dynamic between Zamir White and Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison is terrible in short yardage.
Right.
When it comes to especially the goal line. Okay. The highest, so going back to last year, the highest rate of being stuffed in short yardage, number 1 in the league is Damian Pierce at 64%. Okay.
Okay.
You know, number 2 is?
It must be Alexander Madison.
Alexander Madison, 50% of the time, he gets stuffed in short yardage. Zamir White's your short yardage guy. Zamir White's going to be our red zone guy. Unless it's third down or something like that. But for the most part, short yardage, he's going to be our Pete Banaszak, right? Which Pete Banaszak famously, Jeff.
Well, if you needed a yard, what would he do?
He'd get you a yard.
But if you needed 3 yards, what would he do?
He'd get you a yard.
Right.
Right. So, but I think Zamir White's going to be better than that.
Yeah, I think so too.
But point being, though, is that if you just need that short yardage guy, the guy he's never going to fall backwards, that's going to be your guy. And so we're going to see that out of Zamir. We're not going to see that out of Alexander Madison. We've got too many red zone woes as it was. Yeah. They're not going to put him in those situations. Going down the list just to kind of round this thing out and just to give you some perspective on it. So being that Alexander Madison is bad, higher number being the worst means you get tackled behind or at the line of scrimmage in short yardage. What do you think Josh Jacobs is? If Madison is 50%, so half the time gets tackled at or behind the line of scrimmage, how often does that happen to Josh Jacobs?
25.
35 or 35.
You're right Jeff was about on it. 27.
Okay.
27% of the time, so that's 1 out of 4, right? So not often. Okay.
Right.
To give you an example, to compare that, Derrick Henry's 26.
Oh.
Okay.
And Latavius Murray, former Raider running back, 25. So that's pretty good. Like those are, Latavius Murray, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs have been in this league doing good things for a long time.
Are they some of the best?
No. You know who's better than all 3 of those guys?
Who's that?
Zamir White at 23%.
Really?
Nice.
Wow.
At 23%. And so the best running back in football, of course, the guy that's probably, going to be an MVP candidate is Christian McCaffrey, right? Mm-hmm. Happens to him 19% of the time.
Jeez.
So Zamir White's only 4 points away from freaking Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
So pretty damn good. So I think
good company.
That's going to be your dynamic when it comes to this running game, is that I think you're going to see by the time we get to the end of the season, like a split carry type thing, Michelle, because Madison's going to be your guy between the 20s, and then Zamir's going to be your guy in the red zone, or if it's 3rd and 2 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. He'll finish it. He'll finish the job. The Madison will get him to where try to get us to where he needs to be. The Dylan Lobby thing, somebody asked that they were surprised was anyone surprised to see him still on the team after what we saw in the, when he fumbled, but I almost wondered if they pulled him because they didn't want him to get hurt again. Like they knew what they saw in him, and they had already decided he was going to, because a lot of people didn't think he was going to make the team.
Really?
Because I saw a lot of that on the X. But that people were like thinking that maybe they saw, and that's why they didn't put him back in the game, because that kind of or that he would end up being put on the practice squad or whatever.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think they made the decision long before the first preseason game that Dylan Labby was making the team.
Yeah.
He had an incredible camp.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely incredible. I mean, they fell in love with this guy pretty early. And speaking of Dylan Labby, I think that the biggest battle in the backfield is going to be Amir Abdullah versus Dylan Labby.
Who's your third down guy?
Who's going to be your third down guy?
I agree.
And I think Labby
unless it's 3rd and 1.
Well, sure.
3rd and 6.
3rd and 6, 3rd and 12, something like that. Who's getting the ball? So yeah, for sure. So and much respect to our guy El Capitan, Rafucio's in there. He says, "What's up, nation? Rafucio in the building. We're almost here to week 1. I got one thing to say: Minshew Mania is gonna be wild." Salute with a $5.76 donation.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Rafa.
Nice.
Yeah. So good. So I think I agree with you with you both. He's got such a dynamic game, and he's got nothing but upside.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we know what Amir Abdullah is.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in this league a long time. He was teammates with Will Compton at Nebraska, for crying out loud.
Wow. Right.
Like, he's been around. This is year 10 for that guy. So we know what he's going to be. You have no idea. Everyone that pretends like they got an idea what Dylan Labby's going to be in the NFL, you don't know, because he played at New Hampshire, for crying out loud. So we're going to see where this thing goes. But I think that there's enough upside and there's enough talent from what they're seeing in practice and whatnot. A fumble for a young man in a preseason game, again, context.
Yeah.
No, they're not. You're not going to cut a guy that's got that much potential because of one mistake in a preseason game. Now, if they give him multiple opportunities in the regular season and he's fumbling and he starts coughing it up, guess what? Bye. See ya. He gone. Like, because guys like that, you don't have a long leash. That's it. I mean, when you're a whatever round guy out of New Hampshire, like, they don't have a lot invested in you.
Nope.
Right.
They'll cut you loose in a second if you're not contributing to the team. But I think, again, and something else that I think folks are missing a lot, this guy is not going to get like a shit ton of carries or catches in a game. He's a teams guy.
Right.
That's guy that now with this new kickoff rule is somebody that can read what the zones are, read the blockers, and pick a lane and go. Like, that's what he's going to do incredibly well.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And then we got to have depth at that. So you got guys like McAllister. I think he's quickly going to outpace Amir Abdullah. I think Abdullah's got it because he's the veteran. He's got the experience. He's the mentor for these guys, for all these young men that are in that position group. But I think he's going to quickly outpace Abdullah.
I think so too.
All right, let's go. So I ran down the list of the offense. You guys, however you want to do it, just shout them out, I guess. Who do you think are the starters, since you guys just kind of perused it, but some of them are very obvious. So, Michelle, give me a starter on defense.
On defense.
Yeah, we're going that's
Max Crosby.
Well, there you go. Of course. that's the easiest one. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, absolutely. So Max Crosby is starting, and then Tyree Wilson is his backup. Okay, let's talk about Tyree Wilson. We don't need to talk about Max. We talk about him all year long.
Right.
I don't think Tyree Wilson is going to get traded this year, Michelle. I think that would be premature to trade a guy that's only had an injury, coming off an injury season in college and played a rookie year in the NFL. I think you got to give him time to develop. That said, it's time for him to develop.
Bro, like, and I don't know, like, how long is too long for you to have Herman Munster boots and not be able to move? Like, how long is too long to help someone develop, especially when he was not drafted by, Tom Telesco. He wasn't involved in that. And Antonio Pierce, was there. But how long do you wait for someone to pull it together? I don't know. So
absolutely,
I wouldn't wait long.
Well, and a lot of people, I saw a lot of people on the X. The X is a crazy place.
Well, it is
talking about, we should have cut him. You can't give up that early on that guy, man. You can't. But like you said, I totally see a scenario where if he's got a few sacks or something like that this year, or doesn't really do a whole lot, we could definitely trade him next year. And unfortunately, we won't get a whole lot back.
Well, especially if he has a shitty year,
right? 100%.
Because then his value really kind of
then
plummets.
We might then maybe you do have to cut him next year if he doesn't do anything, because there won't be any trade value for him.
I don't think but I don't think that he's a cut though. Here's where I come out on it is I think that when you look at, I think he'll be a casualty in that sense. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason why is that he's got a pretty decent a run grade, but he's got run stats. Okay. Now, did they get drafted? What was it? 7th overall to come in and be a backup, decent run stopper in the NFL?
F to the E to the R to the R to the E to the L to the L.
And Farrell was a better run stopper to date than what Tyree Wilson is. So if there's value, even if it's low value to the roster, you don't cut the guy. And that's the thing, is that you got to remember, Raider Nation, you got to replace him.
Right.
So if you only need him to perform at a lower level as a backup or a backup of a backup, just to establish some depth on your team, well, then there's no value to cut. He's on a rookie contract. There's no reason to cut the guy. Now, if you start getting advanced into his career and it's time to sign him to an extension, or you know what I mean, or if someone else has an interest in him and you can get some value, enough value to outweigh the productivity. Because that's what this game is all about, man. It's all about value. It's like, it's all about don't get it twisted, man. You assemble a roster like it's a freaking business. Does your value equate to your cost? Like that's it, the end. It's like, the crazy hot scale.
Yeah.
You ever seen that, right? Like the better looking somebody is, like the more you're willing to put up with their crazy. There you go. Like if someone's crazy talented, they'll pay you a shit ton of money. So, but once your value gets disproportionate, that's when you find yourself with trade rumors. It's the thing that Devontae's going to face by staying on the same contract. Is this value at a almost 3-year-old wide receiver with a big fat contract? Is that going to outweigh his value on the field? It's all a business, man. Yeah. Point being, Tyree Wilson, at this point, there's enough value for what you've got invested in him. So he ain't going anywhere. A cut is stupid. Yeah. You cut guys when there's no value left.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Derek.
Marcus Peters.
Oh, there you go.
Right,
Marcus
that's
Peters.
a prime example.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like seriously, and I took a shot at Derek there, but it was the truth because they couldn't afford to take on any more of that contract. He was underperforming to his value, so they let him walk. That's when you do that. But they had a 9-year investment in him, not a year off of an injury college season. Anyway, that's all I got about Tyree Wilson. I'll just say this. You can't be that big and that badass and move that damn slow. Like, because I'm with you, Michelle. Like Herman Munster boots out there. Like, what are we doing, man? Yeah. I thought he was going to improve the way that he put on so much. I thought,
my gosh, line him up in the middle.
Well, that's what we thought was going to happen. But you know what? I'll never forget, man. We had shout out Pete Koch. We saw Pete Koch this weekend. Yeah. Ran into Pete Koch there because it was alumni weekend. So there were Raider alumni all over the place, which was so cool. But saw Pete Koch. And when we had him on the show a few years ago, so for those of you that don't know, Pete's like still like 6'5", 240, like, and not a lick of fat on the guy. Like, dude he's yoked. He's Big Swede in Heartbreak Ridge, if you guys remember that movie. So I'm standing there and I was talking to Pete, but like a couple years ago, we had him on, we were talking about Max, and we were talking about Max, about how one of the things that he was looking at in the off season was adding some muscle. And Pete said, I hope he doesn't add too much, because a guy of his frame, he will rob himself of some mobility, and that mobility is what makes him great. I wonder if that's maybe what happened to Tyree Wilson. I wonder if he put on a little too much and it's limiting his mobility, because he wasn't like that at Texas Tech.
No.
He wasn't even like that last year. He still had some explosiveness to him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He was still had trouble getting off blocks, but I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one to follow.
Yeah.
All right, give me a defensive starter.
All right, well, let's keep it on the line. Christian Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins, dude. You talk about him.
Yeah, well, just maybe the most fun guy on the team. He's explosive. He'll get after you and stuff like that. And this guy never gives up on a play. You saw it firsthand this in the game where we played the Dolphins last year. And this guy chased down Hunter Renfrow. I mean, like, just came up behind him and just blew him up right there at the end. But it was like 50 yards down the field. So the guy is relentless. He's a beast. Him and Max Crosby on the same side is just, I'm still, we got to see a taste of it in preseason. And they're probably, guys like that. I mean, you think they go 100% during the preseason?
Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe a little?
I would say so. I think that the coaches limit what they're...
And you don't see them very much.
They're not moving around the line. They're not getting a lot of creative sets. They're not running blitzes and disguises and all that stuff. So they're just doing like, okay, line up one-on-one with that guy and go for it, and then they're getting blocked or getting double teamed, and then
exactly.
So it's you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, exactly.
The dynamicism of the defense
we're
doesn't show up yet.
We haven't seen what they're gonna do yet.
Not even close. Man.
But I mean, these two guys lining up side by side to each other is just gonna be an absolute. It's an elite pair.
It's gonna be awesome.
An elite pair.
Man. Yeah, having two guys whose motor never quits is. When's the last time we got to really see two elite defensive players? I mean, I feel like it's been a while since we've seen that level of dominance from two different players. I can't wait to see it. I know we haven't actually seen it, but we've seen what he's done.
Yeah.
So,
and we might have a third guy on that line that's elite too.
Come on.
Talk about him on the other side opposite of Max.
Who?
Malcolm Kuntz.
Okay, because he's another one of my favorites. Like, and after seeing him just really skyrocket last season, seeing him now in a full like blast of a season, and him being able to sort of bounce off of what Max and Christian are doing, like I can't fathom our defense not just being lights out.
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't wait.
I can't wait. I'm with you, Michelle. I'm with you. And it's interesting when you start looking at when you round it out there on the starting line, you got Big John Jenkins, and then you got Adam Butler, who's backing up Christian Wilkins, and then Janarius Robinson is backing up Malcolm Kuntz. And I don't know how you can't not get pressure with just your front four.
Right.
Just your front four before you start even doing anything crazy. And again, start doing disguises and 5-man fronts and all that kind of stuff before you start getting into, blitzing corners and safeties and all the different creative things that you can do. Man, I'm telling you, but I just think that is old school. You want to talk about Al Davis football? He wanted to line up, play man-to-man, and win the line of scrimmage with 4 guys. Yep. The Raiders never blitzed back then. For any of you old timers out there that turned the calendar like I have, you remember that. It was Greg Townsend, Howie Long, Lyle Alzado, and I forget who the fourth one was on that line, but that was it. They weren't in there. They weren't blitzing Matt Millen and Ted Hendricks and freaking whatever, Mike Haynes coming off the corner. They weren't doing anything like that.
Nope.
They were just beating you right up front with their front four. And that Washington team that we beat in the Super Bowl, that was the Hogs, the famed Hogs, one of the greatest offensive lines, and John Riggins, one of the most bruising running backs the NFL has ever seen. And we won up front with 4 guys and the 2 linebackers finishing them off, and Hendricks and Miller.
Blowing his ass up.
Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's old school Raider football. And I'm not saying don't blitz. I'm not saying don't get creative and do all the modern day disguises and all the shit that we can do, by bringing Divine Diablo down low. Speaking of another starter for you, they're an outside linebacker, doing those creative things, but they may not have to. Where it was like in recent history, it was like, all right, we got to get Max some help.
Yeah, we got to get creative.
We got to get creative. We got to start bringing extra pressure to freaking get Max some help because everybody's just doubling him up and no one else is getting home.
Exactly.
Until Malcolm Kuntz showed up, and after Antonio Pierce took over, and thankfully it was like, goodness. Great, now we got somebody else that can actually get in there and get it done. All right, keep it at linebacker. Your next starting linebacker is Bob Spillane.
Come on.
And then backed up, or Divine and Spillane are backed up by Luke Masterson and Tommy Eichenberg.
Yeah.
Right off the jump, man.
Yep. Yeah. Well, his pro comparison is who? Bob Spillane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's an appropriate backup, and could eventually next year he could see the starting lineup.
It wouldn't surprise me, especially there you go. Speaking of guys with value and your cost, does Bob Spillane? He better have a big year, and if he does have a big year, it was somebody else going to be willing to pay for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. If you're going to be an unrestricted free agent and the freaking Jets come out and offer you a big fat contract, and the Raiders go, nah, we'll take the young guy with the low contract and give us money to spend somewhere else, right? So that's
we got a lot of contracts coming up.
We got a lot of contracts coming up. And we have a shit ton of linebackers because we got Mauga is in there, and we still got Amari Burney in there, and then your guy Amari Gaynor.
Gaynor
is still in there. Oh, and I forgot about Nestor Jade still around. I forgot about Nestor Jade is still.
Oh, good. Did his attitude change?
I don't know. He didn't have a great game here in that game. Yeah, but anyways, but he's still there at the line.
On the bottom.
But the what?
Is he at the bottom of the list?
Yeah, he's yeah. I mean, it's like they have first, second, third, and then other. He's in the other column.
Good.
Yeah. But talk about Amari Gaynor, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the guy was all over the field, man. He was doing amazing stuff. He lines up inside, he lines up outside, he can do really anything. And it was another one of those guys that just had an absolute elite game against the 49ers. And, you know, and talk about an undrafted guy. Like, what a cool story that is for him as well to make the team and stuff like that. I mean,
isn't he also he called the defense, right? Isn't he
I
the
think
one
he
that
had the
did
dot.
that?
Didn't he have the dot?
I
Okay.
think
I think he had the dot.
Chat room will know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him who did.
Okay,
yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love an undrafted free agent story. Those are great. Those are great.
Those are great.
Okay, starting corners. Well, you guys, starting corners.
You go first.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Jack Jones.
Jack Jones, come on.
Yeah. Listen, what can be said about him? Like, I think we got to see a little taste of it last season, and I think he's going to supersede his where he was. I think he's going to knock everybody's socks off. I really think he's going to show out.
Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely. I don't see how he can't. You know what I mean? He's just one of those guys, and he's a tone setter.
Yes.
I love players on defense, offense too, but defense that are tone setters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guys like Max, right?
Yeah.
Guys like, I think Christian Wilkins can be one of those guys, but Jack by far, especially in the secondary. Like,
totally.
He's your tone setter, man.
He might catch Justin Herbert's first touchdown pass of the year.
Score.
Oh,
I love that.
let's go.
Yeah, I like that.
Come on.
All right. So after, who are the other two? Jeff, who's got our slot and then the other side?
Well, slot would be our boy Nate Hobbs.
Of course.
In the slot.
Of course.
Yep. And then opposite of Jack, we're gonna go with Jack Bennett.
You're gonna go with Jack Bennett. Ja'Cory Bennett gets the nod,
dude.
And you know, so there's a lot of folks out there still going like, "Where's our veteran corner? Where's our veteran corner? Where's our veteran corner?" We've been saying this all along. We don't watch the players in practice like the coaches do. They might see something in that young man, and they're going to give him the nod. And so far, so good. You know, we'll see. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So far, so good. And I'll just remind you of this, Raider Nation. And I brought this up numerous times this offseason. The big knock against the Raiders last year, defensively, was the second line of the defense, which was the linebackers. Everybody was like, we need to sign linebackers. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. Well, except they did. Except they did. They ended up playing.
One of our bright spots of the defense.
They played pretty freaking well. So I would say that I would encourage you that same line of thinking for everybody that's clamoring for them to say, we need a corner, we need a corner. Except maybe we don't. And we'll certainly find out. And you might be right. But I'm just saying at this point,
we could see a Dory Jackson by week 3. You know, you never know. You know, who was the cat? The cat that we signed today. The guy for the former Giant.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that one.
Someone just said SoCal South said.
Oh, Darnay Holmes.
Darnay Holmes.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, which is
there you go.
Was SoCal South? Do you know? Was he with Graham? Was he with?
He had to have been. Had to have been because he came from the Giants when he came to us, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Chat room is a brain on this one. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone says yes.
Everyone says yes.
There you go. Trust them, not me. All right, then Devonshire, MJ Devonshire, and DeCamerion Richardson are your next backup corners, and then Brendan Faison, everyone's favorite, and I don't understand why, because he's just hurt and doesn't play a lot.
How would we know?
Yeah, that's it, right?
Is he real?
Right?
Does he exist?
I don't know, man, but I'm glad they got the other two young men in there back as immediate backups, because I think that
so too.
Well, didn't he get put on IR?
Yeah, Faison. Yeah,
Faison,
he's like hurt right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where he's been. Yeah.
But I like DeCamerion Richardson. I think that if we're gonna have a breakout player of these guys, these young folks in the secondary league, I think he's the one. I think Devonshire's an interesting player, and it was a great player at Pitt. But I think, and I was surprised. I've been calling all year. I was thinking he was going to be a return guy because he was a great return guy in college. And so I think Richardson, has got a little. I like, hey man, give me a guy that's lanky and fast.
Yeah,
like that wins a lot. That
guy.
makes up for a lot of mistakes, man. You know, and so yeah, give me that guy. And then the safeties, no mystery there. Trayvon Merrigan, Marcus Epps.
Well, don't move on too fast from those corners because I want to highlight that I think it's amazing that every single one of our draft picks made the team.
Oh.
You know, from the first all the way to the very last pick. Every
Raiders
single one
27 says, didn't they cut Devonshire
I was
today?
just about to say.
Oh, did they cut him today?
I saw that earlier.
Well, there you go. So that's what I was talking about.
Okay, well, JK.
Yeah. Well, but that's exactly what I was talking about, though, is that, like, I didn't think he was going to be a guy to be in there playing corner.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Richardson who would be the guy. And,
okay.
And so there you go, man.
They must have They
well,
must.
and seeing this is stuff that happens. We're not on our phones during the show, man.
Right.
So we don't
Yeah,
get to see
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff as we're going
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
But anyways, but I am going to bring up another. So after you got our two starting safeties,
Yeah.
Jeff, but then one of your favorites and a crowd favorite is Isaiah Polamau backing up
dude.
at free safety.
Ball hawk, dude. The guy goes after the ball. He's aggressive. He'll get after it. I mean, he had a couple interceptions last year, I believe. He was intercepting like crazy during training camp. The guy was all over the field, man, doing his thing. And then also talk about one of your favorites.
Chris Smith, man.
Come on, dude.
Out of Georgia, man.
Yeah,
Give a
man.
shout out to Bulldog, man. Playing well. And yeah, I think that he was one of those guys that when they drafted him last year, just needed some time. Needed some time to develop. I know you come out of the SEC and there's a certain level of speed that already exists, but it still ain't the NFL, man.
Right.
The SEC is not the NFL. And so there was an adjustment process there for him. But another guy, that's a freaking ball. Like both of our backup safeties are ball hawks.
Yeah.
And we're going to need both those guys to develop because Marcus Epps might be one of those cap casualties. And so we got to keep that into consideration. And so good to see there.
And let's not forget, we still got Trey Taylor,
I was
too.
just getting ready to say
right.
that. And that's your last one.
Absolutely, man.
And there you go. And so there's all your starters outside of in your entire roster. Outside of AJ Cole, of course, Daniel Carlson and Jacob Bobenmoyer is your long snapper. Wish they would have never got rid of Trent Sig, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was so janky. Thanks, Josh McDaniels.
You stupid.
Got rid of the quarterback, but you got rid of our long snapper, man.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Trent Sig was a friend of the show, man.
He's a friend of the show. He's still a friend of the show.
He's still a friend of the show.
Still
But
a
he plays for the Donkeys, dude.
Yeah, oh, boo.
Once a Raiders fan radio, always a Raiders fan radio.
Well, he was just more in the long
That's
line.
once they've retired.
Yeah,
Once they
yeah.
retired. Okay.
Well,
okay.
and he's just another one in the long line of don't come on this show if you want to be a Raider. Because you'll get cut or released, or cut or the same thing.
Sorry.
You'll get cut or your career will end shortly thereafter.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, all right, enough of me, enough of the depth chart. You guys got any final thoughts? Chat room got any final thoughts? We're going to skip some of these media things here.
Okay.
Because we're already going to start running along because we've got a lot to get to in See a Fan's mailbag tonight.
Oh,
So
okay.
Final thoughts on the depth chart, Michelle.
Oh, I think it's great. I think they did a great job. Like I think obviously we can't see what they evaluated in practice and camp and all of those things, but I'm excited. I think there are some spots where depth could be an issue, but I think it looks great. Yeah, and I have more hope than I've had in previous seasons. So that's a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
13-4.
Hey,
Let's
there
go.
You go. There you go, for sure. No, I love it, man. I love that, the rookies made the team. I think that's great. I think their guys made the team, which is great. Undrafted guys made the team, which is great. I think that that's a true testament of this coaching staff and the mentality that they're preaching that, hey, if you can ball and you can do it the Raider way, you're a part of this team. So it doesn't matter where you were drafted or not drafted or anything like that. If you come out and you ball on this field, we're going to give you an opportunity to play and to win.
There you go.
I think that that's great, man.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of strength, a lot of speed, a lot of leadership. Like there's a lot of talent on this football team, and I love the character of the team. When you start looking at the personalities that are involved in this roster, I think that this team is going to quickly take on the persona of its head coach. And we're going to hear a little bit from Telesco in his press conference today. But before we get to that, I just want to mention one of the things that he was talking about on the initial roster here is that we're going to get to that. Is that he talks about how, well, here, I'm not going to set it up. You guys listen to Tom Telesco and tell me what you think.
Well, it could. I mean, just roster wise, this is kind of the starting point of where we are. But yeah, I mean, a little bit heavy at linebacker right now. But I think just across the roster, whether it was the new kickoff rule or not, as you get towards the back end between, 45 and 53, there has to be a pretty big special teams rule there for those players. So that always, you have to take that into account as you put this together for the initial list. But honestly, with the kickoff rule and the players that are going to be used in that fashion, we still have to see how it plays out now in the regular season when it's for real and see what teams are doing and see how it goes. But yeah, this is just how it played out right now.
All right. I love it there. So, shoot, Don't hit that button, Josh. Let's not turn off the whole show there.
Jeez.
Yeah, I like. He talks about it's. I think these things are fluid, right? That's the number one thing I think to take away from it is that it's a fluid thing. But it's such a great starting point. And again, to start with the core of it, like what's the core of this of this team so far? Are those things, those traits that I just mentioned, man? And I think that's a hell of a place to start. And again, going to take on the persona of its head coach. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
All right. Thanks. Hit a break then.
Hi, this is AJ Cole from the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Just win, baby.
Hey, this is Pete Koch, former Los Angeles Raider. Yeah, back in the old days, baby. And you're listening to Murf and Uncle Mosh, who happens to have the same hair as me. Check it out, Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, so let's check in with Tom Telesco real quick as he talks about one of the favorites of this preseason, and that is, of course, Tyreek McAllister. And now let's hear your GM tell us about why he remained on the roster.
As a returner, you have to have some athletic ability, quickness, and speed, but you also have to have some feel and instincts to it. And I think he has that, and that's, either have that or you don't. But his big transition has really been as a full-time receiver. Just hadn't done it a lot. And if you guys were out there during OTAs, if you saw him in April and May, and you see him now, you see how fast he's come and getting more comfortable at playing that position, and running routes, having a feel for it, setting up his breaks. So it's been really neat to see. It's really cool to see young players, really invest in what they're doing, use all the resources they have, and try and make a football team. And he's really gone above and beyond to try and do that. And, we'll see how the year plays out for him. But he's come a long way since, and these guys, hats off to Champ Kelly and the staff here that signed him before I got here. They saw something in him in the CFL. He was signed as a future before I arrived. And, what those guys saw is what you're seeing on the field right now.
I love that, man. And he came out of a small school. Where was it? He was like,
oh man.
Is it not Delaware? Somebody in the chat room will know. It's like a Division II school.
Okay.
It's like like Dylan Lobby coming out of New Hampshire. Like it's a small school,
okay,
which is why he went to the CFL. And then now here he is, ends up in the NFL. And so again, such great stories. I love to hear stories from guys like that. And it was really interesting to me that Telesco brought him in as a returner, and now here he's emerged as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's not even that, it's new to him. Like, it's not even like he's been doing it that long. Like, that's like, I'm telling you, we got a lot to look forward with that guy.
Because he looked like a running back.
That's what I thought he was, is just at first glance, because he wore number 32. Because, again, my brain still works that, 32, that's Marcus Allen, or that's, you know what I mean? Like, you just immediately go to running back. Shout out Protective Shield podcast in there. So what's up, everyone?
Respect.
What's up, brother? Okay, so let's also hear from man. I'm all over the name place. Let's also hear from Tom Telesco as he talks about these young players getting to play in the whole game.
Specifically as it relates to wide receiver Ramel Keaton and Tyreek McAllister, they made cases for themselves in Costa Mesa and then certainly finished strong on Friday night against the 49ers. Can you talk a little bit about their growth throughout training camp and then the case that they made for 53-man roster spots?
Yeah, I think, both of them kind of showed, slow and steady improvement. I mean, that's kind of what it is when you're coming into the league as a young player. But you saw from the beginning of OTAs until that last preseason game that there's some skill there to work with. And the goal is, not to have, obviously you want to have the strongest 53-man roster possible, but to us, the practice squad is just as important. So we want to have the strongest 69-man roster as we can as we put this all together. But some of the things those guys showed, certainly what McAllister showed on special teams, which is going to have to be a role for these guys at the back end. And it was nice in that last preseason game, certainly for those two guys and some others, to play a lot of snaps. And I like how Antonio set that up in the third preseason game where a lot of young players played a lot. These guys haven't played a full game a lot of our younger players since their last game in college. And the way the preseason is, and especially when we're going to play the starters early on, there just aren't a lot of snaps. So to get guys get a chance to get a lot of work, get in a rhythm of series after series, and to see those two guys perform in that third preseason game was certainly important.
There you go. So if there's any question of whether those two guys earned their spot on the roster in that last game, I mean, there you go, man. And it really stood out, man, when watching the game. Both those guys just really stood out.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
So Tyreek McAllister played for the Charleston Golden Eagles, which is a Division II school playing in the Mountain East Conference.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's not even group of 5.
No, that's like group of 29 or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't even know what I don't even know what you call those schools.
Wow.
I know they're NCAA Division II, but yeah, I don't know if there's like a nickname for for all those schools. But yeah, that's
the other guys.
The other guys. Yeah,
the rest
absolutely. But shout out the Raider. But we go back to again, Raider legacy. That's the Raiders legacy. You know what I mean? They got players out of North Texas State, and you know what I mean, in Texas A&I. I think that's where Gene Upshaw went to school, was the Texas A&I. Like a school that isn't even around anymore. Like, it's absolutely incredible what the Raiders used to do in going out to small schools. You know what I mean? And like, those players didn't get a lot of exposure, especially back then. At least now you can get like film and stuff on. Back then you had to have scouts at games and stuff. And so it really gets back to the roots of the Raiders with guys like Laube and also with Tyreek McAllister.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. You know, I mean, it really truly shows that it doesn't matter where you came from, but if you can play Raider football, then you're going to be a part of this. You're going to be a part of what's going on. But I love that they did let guys like McAllister, like Keaton, play the entire game because, yeah, like you just said, it really did earn them a spot, and it also allowed them to build. You know, because like you said, McAllister was just a special teams guy, just a returner, and so he got to like practice a lot of wide receiver and really balled out and showed out that, hey, I can do this too. So wherever you need my number called, I got you, bro.
Which is what earns you spots on the roster, man. Yeah. Especially when you go.
No, I was going to say giving them also, because earlier in the show you talked about how the speed is so different in the NFL versus, you know, your college. Even, you know, you might have been a star, but understanding how different the NFL is. So being able to play a whole game against a team, you know, that's not just your teammates or whatever, I think is good. And then the ones that rose to the top really got their opportunity to shine. Yeah. And I just love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, listen, so at the end of the day, those are the things that you have to do to be successful and to earn a spot on the roster in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm going to play?
Uh-huh.
Shout out our good friend on the X, Raider Posts.
Okay.
Who put this out at the end of the day. And this is just a funny segment here before we get into the Sea of Fans mailbag. But this is Max Crosby talking about the end of the day.
That's what it's all about. You know, at the end of the day, the goal is the same. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Whatever they want me to do, I'm going to do. You know, at the end of the day, we're getting ready for week 1. At the end of the day, like, you know, people don't want to show their cards. At the end of the day, every coach has their own theory and things like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, everyone's out there just trying to improve. At the end of the day, like, if you're hating on the guy you're competing with, like, you're typically the one losing the battle. So at the end of the day, they're making each other better. You know, at the end of the day, this is National Football League. We're all real close at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we know what we're fighting for. You gotta have thick skin. You know, at the end of the day, that's who I am. And that's what got me here. So at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, it's all love. You know, I'm just out there trying to be the best version of myself.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And you know, that wasn't as many clips spliced together as what you think. He just says a lot.
That was all in one press conference.
Yeah. Oh, bless it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's Wyoming Raider said that in the chat whenever we posted that last week. He goes, that's kind of like when Swag Jeff says 100%.
Yeah. Or in stuff like that.
Or in stuff like that. Well, it just depends on how much I've had to drink.
And stuff like that.
And stuff like that.
Fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he throws. It is.
Gil says 100% at the end of the day.
And stuff like that. Well, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, we appreciate Jordan Ford says, at the end of the day, it's a coping phrase. We all have one. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
At least one.
Absolutely. That's mine.
Yeah, at least one.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yep.
Jordan
Mine's
Ford
the
is.
F word, but I don't say it a lot on here. I'm like Bernie Mac.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Travis Kelce.
In the chat room there, we got Vegas Raider Pete, Jordan Ford, Kenny Clark is in there, Fabricator Gil. Let's see who else we got. Let's see where we at. Raider 27 is in there. Paul Edgerton is in there. Carl Howard is in there. Ron the Materator is in there. Mark Barras is in there. We appreciate you. Appreciate Matthew Mangus is in there. Woody Wood is in there. Swag Dad is in there.
Hey.
Matthew and Daniel Mangus are in there. Appreciate you guys joining us live here. East Coast Raider as well. Huey P is in there. All kinds of our good friends. Wyoming Raider is in there. SoCal Sal. Edgar Hernandez is in there. Appreciate all of those of you and your amazing chats in there. And also, once again, just want to shout out all the amazing super chats that have come through, including that $200 donation in there from our buddy Intel. We appreciate you very much. All right, so this part of the show, enough of us. More of you and less of us is a good thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to your emails and your phone calls. And if you want to call the show, you can call it at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. And you can leave us a message. And if you do that and we play it on the show 3 times or more, you could become the next made man or made maiden here at Raiders Fan Radio. Or you can email the show.
Okay.
Did you guys know that?
Yeah. I think
found
Michelle.
that out.
You
Yeah,
did?
Michelle found that out.
Okay.
When emails started coming in, I was like,
Oh,
oh shit, you can email the show.
Do you know where they email the show?
I actually do. So
All right, go
it's
ahead.
S.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Okay.
Wait. Let me get the camera set here. Okay. All right. Okay.
S.
Okay. S.
H.
Whoa.
Slow it on down.
S. H. You said
H. O.
Like, oh my gosh,
Like
there's
oh my
another letter
gosh.
coming?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A letter. And then
A letter after the O?
is W.
Wait a minute.
Not 2 V's, a W.
Okay.
You got it?
Like not to use either?
Not to use either.
Okay, so S
W.
H O
Mm-hmm.
W.
Yes.
Okay.
At RaidersFanRadio.com.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And if we read your email an indefinite amount of times here on the show, you could become the next made man or made maiden that way. And Michelle has the honor of reading your fabulous emails.
Yes.
And Michelle, who do we have tonight?
All right. So first we have Slatus.
Hey,
We
Slatus.
haven't heard from him in a while. Hey guys, long time no email. I have still been watching and you guys are still killing it. So Minshew Mania is now our QB1. After watching that crap of a preseason game against the Cowgirls, I really noticed how vanilla both offense and defense was. How offense and defense was. Raider Nation needs to calm down. Minshew's not going to throw that much. They'll be focusing on running the ball. They were definitely trying to get AOC and Minshew to show them something, but I got to say Minshew definitely has more playmaking ability and is also probably a better leader. Anyway, that's my piece. As always, Raiders.
Let's go.
Nice. There you go, Slatus.
Thank you,
Where'd
Slatus.
I missed my applause button.
Oh, we got you.
There
Okay. That's going to do it. I was ready.
He's good at doing that. Whenever Murf goes to the bathroom, we got to do.
You're not drinking tonight, though, so you haven't got it.
I know. I don't have to pee when I'm drinking tea.
You don't?
Well, I'm not drinking that much tea.
Yeah, he's not slamming
You
tea
haven't had
back.
6 teas.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
6 teas. All right, next, we have Vegas Pete.
And I'm drinking sleepy time tea too. No wonder that's why I'm.
wow.
Are you really?
Yeah, and I got up at 5:30 this morning. So
Oh my
that's why I'm-
gosh. Oh, you're
Why
going
are
to
you
sleep
doing
like a
that?
baby
I
tonight.
don't know. Yeah.
Wow, good for
'Cause
you.
I'm trying to
Good
get
way
some.
to go.
Yeah, I got a lot going on this week.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
So you may as well sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
darn
just
right.
sleep. Just-
Yeah.
When in doubt, just sleep.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I was.
About to
This
get-
is from
about to get
Vegas.
deflowered.
Oh yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, easy.
Tell us about your life.
Yeah.
I'll tell it. I'm having a colonoscopy on Friday.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Good for you. Damn it.
Gotta
More
do-
people need to be doing that. I mean, fucking. Oops. Sorry.
okay.
Take care of business.
Gotta
care
take
of
care of
you're
yourself,
healthy. Make
man.
sure
Take care
you're
of your
healthy.
shit.
And I'm not
Yeah.
doing it for me. I'm doing it for those around me.
There you go.
That's yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to take care of yourself because there's people that
That's
out
right.
there that love you.
That's true.
Yeah, they do.
They
right.
do. All right.
So I'm gonna go.
Next. So you're gonna go get.
I'm gonna go get
deflowered.
breached.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Breached. Okay.
That's funny, dude.
So I'm going to start calling it. All right. The Vegas Pete is next.
Paul says another date night.
There's been a breach.
Sirens going off. Oh, that's what they need to do.
That's so funny, man.
Okay. Vegas
All right,
Pete is
here we go.
next.
Hey, Vegas
I
Pete.
was proud of our boys Friday night. 82 and 32 made the team that night, and we hung in there with San Fran, who foolishly played starters the first half. I hope Snowden makes the practice team. He did. He was a standout in preseason and deserves to be a Raider. Now on to our playoff push this season. Some books have us up from 6 wins up to 8 wins here in Las Vegas. I'm still betting the over. I see us winning 10. I can't even watch or read ESPN anymore. They're full-blown Raider haters. We already know that 2024 Rookie of the Year, it's Brock. Play the audio, Murph. Brock Bowers.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to get cues.
Yeah, he did.
Like Brock for Brock, the conqueror himself, Brock. Brock. You want to see your husband fight Brock? You got it. It's on. You can't beat Brock. Best friend in the world, Brock. I got 2 words for you. Barack!
Thank you. Brock Bowers will be the next Raider jersey bought. I can't wait now for week 1. September 8th can't come soon enough. Viva Las Vegas, the home of the silver and black forever. Vegas Pete. P.S. I hope this game they have a plan to block Mac. He's still butthurt about being traded. Meyer needs to help chip him and help the tackle. Mac.
Absolutely. Good one, Vegas Raider Pete. Yeah, we don't need old Khalil Mack having another revenge tour again.
Actually,
No, hell no.
Yeah, no, we don't. All right, this is Hooligan. What's up, RFR crew? Sorry for the late email, but I was stuck at work all day with a district business walk at my store, so I'll make this short and sweet. Listeners, hit the damn button, nerds. And if you can, feel free to throw some bucks at the One Nation Foundation. You know you want to.
Just press the damn button, nerd.
Murph, I'm going to need you to stop picking on Home Depot. That's where I work. Just say Lowe's instead. They're like he said they're like the Broncos of home improvement anyway.
Okay, deal.
Oh, nice.
Till next time, this is your friendly neighborhood hooligan saying good night. Oh, and yeah, just win, baby.
Nice.
All right.
Respect, hooligan.
Yeah. Next, we have Carl from upstate New York, a.k.a. Backwoods Raider. All right.
Hey, Carl.
What's up, RFR crew? It's been a minute since I've been able to listen in live, but the podcast makes my Thursdays that much
I'm
sweeter.
going to be the backdoor Raider Friday.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say
There's been a
something
breach.
like that.
So how about them Raiders? I'm digging the excitement and energy that seems to be surrounding the team this offseason. The team has the AP stamp all over it. That type of intensity and commitment will absolutely have a bigger impact than a lot of people think. Everyone looks at the roster and the stats or pedigree of the players, but the things you can't quantify are usually the difference makers, especially in a league as talented as the NFL, where the skill level of every player is at the highest. That said, I feel like the Raider way mentality is going to be the difference this year. Not Minshew, not Crosby, not Adams, not White. The confidence and intensity AP is branding this team with will make a huge difference on game day. That said, I have realistic expectations for this season. I can totally see us shocking the league and making the playoffs. The defense will carry us most of the way, but I think Minshew Mania will make a difference in a couple games. My prediction, Raiders end up second in the AFC West behind the KC Crybabies and grab a wild card spot at 10-7. Thanks for being the best Raider podcast I subscribe to. Even my lady, who is a Giants fan but listens with me, loves it even though I haven't been able to recruit her to the dark side yet. Oh, we need to work on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Anyhow, looking forward to listening tomorrow. And of course, just win, baby. Carl from upstate New York.
Hey, Carl. Great email, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
Is that the first time we've heard from Carl?
I don't know if I've ever heard from him.
That's the first email that I am aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's Carl Howard, I think.
Oh, is that Carl Howard in the chat?
So
Okay.
I don't.
Well, he was just right there. He was the one that said LOL at Backdoor Raider. So there you go. Perfect. Oh, he says nope.
No, wait.
Is that not him?
I thought it was.
No.
Let me see.
Oh, he says he's emailed before.
Carl
okay.
Howard. Carl Howard.
Oh, you're saying nope
okay.
to that wasn't his. Well, Carl.
Backdoor Raider.
Maybe not as backdoor Raider. Is that his?
Maybe that was the no.
Okay.
Yeah,
He just emailed us Carl.
Okay, he says he's emailed before. At Carl, I'll tell you, let's make a deal with Carl. Email us one more time. It's an indefinite amount of times to become a made man here at Raiders Fan Radio. Email us one more time, man. Let's get you on the list.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have James Williams.
Hey, James.
Well, family, we have weathered the 9-month storm of not having our beloved Raiders. The 53-man roster is complete, plus or minus a few tweaks. But we are here. Now it's time to shut up 4 idiotic Charger fans, cheating ass and boring Harbaugh, and the entire national media who keeps overrating the Chargers.
Oh, my gosh.
I hope the Raiders put 70 on their bitch ass this time.
Nice.
For a team with such a shitty history, they don't know when to shut up. Anyway, did you see Deshaun Jackson's corny ass on the Coward Show? What the bleep was that?
Yeah.
He is either taking a personal conversation between himself and Adams and airing it out on a known Raider-hating show, or he is Adams' personal bitch boy. I am at a point where I'm over Adams' drama. Jackson spent 1 season as a Raider and didn't do shit and goes on Coward's show during alumni weekend. I guess his invite got lost in the mail. Once a Raider, always a Raider is an earned title, not given to all who wore that uniform.
Come on.
James Williams.
Come on, James.
Let's go, James.
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't love all the secondhand speak on all this kind of stuff, right?
What are we doing here?
It's so lame.
It seems really like that's so disrespectful. If that is a conversation that they had, why would you go tell anybody?
Especially Colin Coward.
That bitch.
Jeez.
All right, next we have Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Evening, everybody. I hope you're well. Football is officially with us once more, and you can cut the excitement with a knife. Preseason has shown us what we needed to see. Some players have taken their chance and given themselves a great opportunity to make the roster, like Nesta Jade Silvera, Amari Gaynor, and Tyreek McAllister. And some haven't, like Tyree Wilson, who has shown nothing to suggest he should have a place. In fact, I'd be putting him on the practice squad at best or cutting him completely. The kid just isn't improving at all, and we've seen more from the likes of Janarius Robinson. As I type this, the roster cuts are being made, so we'll soon see. I haven't done my season predictions at this point, as I always like to see where we are after the preseason games. I do have slight reservations about Gardner Minshew because I'm still not 100% convinced he has the consistency in his game. I never took any notice of the guy when he was playing anywhere else, so I need to see him leading us on the field before I can shake off that fear. He's an infectious and driven character through and fits in well with the Raiders' image. Whatever happens, he'll have my unwavering support. With all that being said, I'm really excited for the season ahead. I'm trying to cool my jets a little after so many years of being overconfident, then being kicked in the nuts for 4 months. But right now, I'm like a kid the week before Christmas, and I can't wait to see our boys getting after San Diego in week 1.
Nice.
If we start well, the momentum could take us a long way. As I look at the schedule in front of me, I have us at 6-6 through week 13, but I have us winning the last 5, so I'm going for 11-6. The Chiefs are obviously the team to beat in our division. I threw up in my mouth a little typing that, but sadly it's true for now. The Chargers aren't ready for what we're going to do to them, even though they've just won their 20th consecutive preseason media Super Bowl. As for the Donkeys, we own their asses, so I say with full confidence 5-1 in the division. The Browns game in Vegas and the Buccaneers game in Tampa are the 2 games I think could go either way, so fingers crossed for 11-6, not 9-8. Overall, I don't have a clue who will win this year's Lombardi Trophy. In recent years, it's been a bit more obvious, but I don't see the Chiefs winning it, not just because I hate them with the fire of 1,000 suns, but I think it'll be somebody different, somebody unexpected this year. Maybe don't make any plans for January and February just yet, folks. Just saying. Stay safe, RFR family. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi. Pauly Award winner 2019-2022. Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, Made Man of the Year 2024, BRT Sizzler Scorekeeper, Proud Made Man, 5 times 3 plus 4, winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award.
Attaboy, Paul.
Nice.
Paul, your name Paul?
Hello?
Paul.
Hello?
Paul.
I
met him with
Paul.
Who?
Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul!
Hi.
I'm Paul.
Darn right you are, Paul. That was awesome, as always, and appreciate all the amazing emailers tonight. Appreciate you all taking the time to write us that email. And again, if you want to email the show, you can do it at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. All right, next up, we've got our voicemails. You can get a hold of us at 909-345-3346. That is 360.
Oh,
well,
I thought
sure.
you were gonna, I thought you were going to do it again. I'll do it. 909-345-3346.
That's 909-345-3346.
Yeah, I know. Well, you said you could call us at 909-345-3346, and then you said that's, which is always you say it again. I don't have to explain myself. That's what the hell I thought you were going to do. Jesus.
I can't wait to listen to that.
He had a slow fade on him. He just like trailed off. That's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Be like our buddy Donovan and call the show at 909-345-3346. That's
the number you got to call. You can't fake me out like that. I was like a dog going for the fake throw.
It's like Charlie Brown and Lucy and
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
Holy cow.
All right, here we go. Here we go with our buddy Donovan.
Hey, Donovan.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Donovan.
Oh, and by the way, we didn't have calls last week because we didn't have a show. So some of these calls, like 2 or 3 of them, may go back to prior to the Niner game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man. So, watching this, after watching this preseason game with the Cowboys, man, we good, man. The defense legit. Defense gonna be top 5, man. Just the fact that Max Crosby has to be taken out in practice just because he's going too crazy. That's wild, man. And with the offense, new scheme, and we should go with AOC. Gardner Mitchell, he's legit, you know what I'm saying? Just struggling a little bit. AOC was struggling a little bit. That play 6 hurt too, but should go with AOC, man. Zamir White gonna be good. Devontae Adams ain't play. Jacoby, you know what I'm saying? And Trey Tucker and DJ Turner. Trey Tucker, DJ Turner, and Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. That's gonna be a crazy package, man. Raider Nation, we gonna be good. All right? And I'm into this. We not gonna make the playoffs with 9 wins. We need 10+ wins, man. All right. Super Bowl. How you get that? Just win, baby.
All right, here is Donovan. I'm with him. I'm with him. It's going to take that amount of wins for sure, man. We appreciate you, Donovan, calling in. All right, next up, we got our buddy. Oh, man, I thought he was going to get Google voiced.
Oh, really?
This guy takes it to, just a spoiler alert, he takes it to 259.5.
Oh, wow.
But gets out.
No way.
Freaking gets out. Yeah, so much respect. You can tell who the veterans are around here.
Hey guys, it's Storm. I didn't write this one down, so it's going to be a little bit sloppier than usual. But I just saw the news. You know, Gardner Minshew was made starting quarterback, and I got thoughts. I might be negativity dumping a little bit because you know by week 1 I'm going to be cheering and rooting, and nothing's going to matter. The Raiders will win the Super Bowl, but right now I'm not so hot on us going into week 1 as a starter. I mean, if be honest, right? If somebody had come to you and for sure, and told you back in January after we beat the Broncos that Gardner Minshew was going to be quarterback 1 going into the season, how excited would you have been? I wouldn't have been that excited at all, you know? And I think that goes for a lot of Raider Nation. And I think what's really annoying and really gets my goat is that it's not that anybody won the job. You know, I would admit it. I was an Aiden guy. I thought he probably deserved to start over it, but, you know, AP saw something different. And honestly, who am I to tell him otherwise? Because Aiden sucks and Gardner sucks both this offseason, all in training camp. All we ever heard day after day was that they were both throwing picks. And I guess in that sense, right, like since Gardner has a little more mobility, you know, you go with the guy that'll throw picks and be mobile as opposed to the guy that'll just sit back in the pocket. And honestly, though, I don't really blame AP so much, but I feel like it's gonna be tough this season. I feel like we're only gonna win like 7 or 8 games, man. I mean, if preseason and training camp trends hold, which we have no reason to suspect that they wouldn't, then our quarterback is going to be really rough. We have one of the worst quarterback rooms in the league going into the week. And AP didn't sound happy either. It sounded like he was forced to make a choice as opposed to making an enthusiastic choice, you know? And I just want to say, like, this is what happens when you build a team first and you ignore quarterback. We've made 3 moves at quarterback in the last 2 years. We got rid of Derek Carr. Say what you want about him. He was a long-term starter. Got rid of him. We've made 3 moves. We signed Jimmy G. Bust. Signed Gardner. We'll see, but not looking good. Drafted a 4th-round rookie. I know the Falcons took Penix, but, like, come on, man. You can't move on from a long-term starter and then just, you know, not replace him. It's wild. And this is exactly the type of stuff that gets people lose their jobs. I think AP's safe. I think Telesco's safe. And I blame Telesco mostly for this because he's the guy that has personnel control. But if we have a middling season, if we win 6 or 7 games or something like that, that's purely a failure on failing to address the most important position, you know? I hope Gardner does well. Like, I'm not trying to just sit here and say he's going to guarantee to fail, but I hope otherwise, you know? Oh, God damn it. Oh, well, I mean, I just hope otherwise, right? And this is a failure of roster building, and I worry that our offseason, which I like a lot, didn't do as much as we hoped it would. I know that's my negativity lump. You know, hey, week 1 is still coming up, man. Go Raiders.
No, what negativity? I didn't even hear it. I didn't hear it.
All right, now listen. Storm typically has takes, you know, that can be along those lines, and I think that I don't take it as just like flat out negativity, but I think that if you're not given reason to believe otherwise, then you can go that way just as easily as you can go to the side that we're on.
Sure.
Because there's no proof yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what I would say to you, Storm, is this, and others that have that mindset. If you're making the assumption that it's going to be a failure, instead of making the assumption that something positive can happen. When we make the assumption that it's going to be a failure, what previous proof do you have to base that opinion on? Okay. And when it was Josh McDaniels, we had a track record. He had a track record in Denver, and then he had a track record beginning to establish in Las Vegas, and they were consistent with one another. So when it got to the point where we recognized, well, this thing is not going to change, then yeah, you enter into the season and you're like, well, hope for the best, but this is probably going to suck. When you look at Antonio Pierce and his track record, albeit short, and I acknowledge that, Storm, you're talking about an 8 or 9 game sample size. Okay. But he's picking up the pieces with that 9 games and had a winning record. Right. And saw some players improve dramatically. So there isn't any evidence yet that this thing is going to be this abject failure that you're putting on it. And so, and again, I'm not telling you you're wrong. You might be dead on right, but I'm going to choose to go off of the evidence and the base that he's already established and trust that will only grow and get better, Michelle.
Yeah. The other thing too is like, okay, the quarterback position, it was addressed to the best of their ability, because I think, imagine what it would have taken to trade up to get the quarterback that they wanted. Where would we be sitting now? We'd have a great quarterback that we think would be great, but we would probably have had to trade away a lot in the process. So I think they addressed the quarterback situation in the best way that they felt that would hold the team to be able to succeed this season and have quarterbacks that were serviceable. I don't want to make them sound that, but you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and I think the assumption there too also that he's making is that the Raiders didn't try.
Exactly.
Because listen, you can't, just because you want to, doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want.
Exactly.
Right.
And unless, you know what I mean?
They wanted Jaden Daniels.
Exactly.
Well, exactly. And it wasn't going to happen. And then the Falcons
no.
screwed up their draft board by drafting Michael Penix.
Yeah.
Well, You know what I mean? So like I think you're making a lot of assumptions instead of going off of what are the tangible results, Jeff, that we've already seen and basing and forming your opinion on that instead of a hypothetical. That's all.
Well, none of us have seen Gardner Minshew as the starting quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders yet.
Exactly.
We haven't seen that. We saw a taste in the preseason and whatever, but we've never seen him as our starting quarterback for the 2024 season. So until that goes awry, I'm going to assume that it's going to be great because that's the mentality that I take. I think it's going to be great. And until we're proven wrong, it's going to be great. That's the end.
Absolutely, the end. And again, anybody, listen, those folks that are critical, and I'm not crapping on you, and thank you for calling, Storm, and keep them coming. And, we don't sit behind these microphones because we think we're right all the time. Like, we're wrong plenty. But I think that I would encourage you that at this point in the season, like, try to find something positive to root for because there's nothing yet to tell you that it's going to be better. Now, 8 weeks in, we're 2-6. All right, fine. Then I'm on the.
We'll all be sad sacks.
Then we'll all be sad sacking.
For sure.
Like we're right there with you. Then you know what I mean. But at this point, I just think it's a little premature. But anyways, I appreciate the comments. Appreciate the phone call for sure from our buddy Storm. All right, next up, let's check in with our buddy Josh down in the 703.
What up, fam? Well, I know it's only preseason, but that was kind of a shit show. I stayed up, watched all the way to about third quarter, pretty close.
I'm sure he's talking about the game against the Cowboys.
Okay.
He's not talking about the Niner game.
Right. Fourth quarter, I wake up, next thing I know, we got our ass whooped. But what really makes the shit show for me, man, is I know we didn't have the full offense out there with Adams or Bowers. I really wanted to see Bowers. I didn't think Adams was going to play, especially, that man just had a birth of his child. He might need to get more practice in, or hitting the game day. But the quarterbacks, man, Minshew did not look good. He looked, to me, actually, that game was bad. Like how we kind of were rooting for him after that first game. This game, whew. O'Connell came out strong and threw that pick six. I know Coach has already said that Gardner Minshew's going to be the starter, but I don't know, man. I think from what I've seen so far, I think I'd rather go with Aiden. But I guess, it's brought up, leadership, stuff like that, and maybe he doesn't have it. I mean, one of the biggest things I've seen people say is, I'm not in that locker room. That's 100% true. We're not in the locker room. So you go by what you see, and that may be, limited information compared to everything else. But,
I think so, a lot of times.
So, Gardner's it, man. We're going to ride with him. I hope he leads us to good things. Defense still look really strong. I think especially once the defense is out there and cohesive together, like some people are like, oh, well, our run defense not looking too good. Or this, that. I was like, we'll see when the whole team's out there. I think that's the big thing. We got to wait and see till the whole team's out there. Same with the offense. I mean, having brought Bowers and Mayer out there together is going to be a big dynamic. But, yeah, man. So, go Minshew. Like I said, not my pick, but still, he's our quarterback. We root for who was on the team. And you know who we play next. So, man, fuck the Niners.
Attaboy, Josh. Always good to hear from our buddy Josh in the 703. All right,
Absolutely.
Next up, let's hear from the, how about this, man? We hadn't heard from him in a minute. This is the official Raiders fan radio historian, and we call him the Houstorian because he goes by Houston Raiders Steve.
Murf, Mosh, Swag Jeff, Michelle. Just want to say this is Houston Raiders Steve. Met up with Kenny King recently at a viewing party for the Raiders. He said some interesting things. Number one, during the Super Bowl against the Eagles, there was a death threat against him, Lester Hayes, Cliff Branch.
Jeez.
And it came in at halftime, but they did not know till the end of the game. They ran out of the stadium when they found out about it. Number two, the cut-ups in training camp at Napa were Matuzak and Ted Hendricks. And one time Matuzak at training camp was in his mood from probably roids. Anyway, he threw his dresser out in the hallway and took out a 357 and started shooting down the hallway. Crazy. He also was driving through the Oakland Tunnel with the window open shooting off his 357 Magnum. Number 3, when they played 1980, there's 3 players that made $375,000 or more. That was Plunkett, Pastrini, Archell, Upshaw, and Ted Hendricks. Number 4, when they were in Los Angeles, they had trouble in September, October, and November filling up the stadium. The reason why? Southern California, beach culture. A lot of people at the beach. It's too nice to be out. There's too many distractions. He was very interesting on what he had to say about things. He said he replaced Arthur Whittington when he went to the Raiders. Arthur told him, "You're out competing against me for my job." And eventually he said, "Yes, I am." But also Arthur Whittington and Cliff Branch spent a lot of time with him going over drills to make him a better football player as a receiver. Al Davis, when he recruited him, he said, "The reason why I recruited you for my team is when you played at Colorado, you went through the defense of Oregon, and you had such a great game and everything that I just had to have you as a Raider." As he always says, once a Raider, always a Raider.
All right, there it is. Houston Raiders team.
Great story, bud.
Great story about meeting the great Kenny King. All right, good stuff there. All right, next let's go down to our buddy in Fresno. He is Jacob.
Murf, Swaggle, and the lovely Michelle Smith. What's up, guys?
That's so
Jake
funny.
from Fresno. So, I'm in the middle of the game right now. I got it paused just because I don't think I'm going to be able to call later because I'm going to be too loud, man. That's just how I am. That's how I am when I call. I'm the juggernaut. Thanks, by the way, guys. I really appreciate the award. Meant to mention it in another call. Didn't make it that week because we skipped the show. I don't know when the show happened. I'm sorry. Anyway, man, this Tyreek McAllister fella, let me tell you, Tyreek 2.0, Tyreek with an eye for I like this guy, for I want to see him on the team, for I like the way that run looks, for I like that touchdown, for I like that other touchdown, for I want to see him on the Raiders. Let's keep him here. Tyreek McAllister, let's make him our special teams guy, at least have him return punts, and him and Trey can go back and forth. I know Dylan Laube was doing pretty good during the offseason. Let's not get rid of him, but he's not doing what Tyreek is doing. Not many people are that fast. They have that kind of speed, and it's pretty, it's kind of a coincidence that his name's Tyreek. I won't go too far into that because I know that hurts when we think about the history of a Tyreek. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the nightmares. Anyway, man, the preseason, this is my favorite preseason game of the year by far because we're seeing so many great things. Tyreek, and Tyreek. Let's get this guy. Get him on the team. Get him on the team. This is our guy, man. This is the punt returner, the specialist guy. I love Tyreek. Let's get a Tyreek shirt. Can we make an RFR Tyreek shirt? Tyreek is here all week. I don't know. Something way better. But Tyreek, man, he looks great. Tyreek looks good. Carter Bradley, at least in this part of the game, looks all right. Nathan Peterman, Peter Can, the Peter Goat. I don't know. He's probably not going to make the team, but who knows? Maybe he does over Carter Bradley. Everything is just so much better this week. Run game on the defense still needs to improve. Hope that gets handled. But, hey, I think they really opened it up on offense. Starting to see things I haven't seen all preseason. You kind of want to keep things, guys, the whole preseason because you don't want to let everybody get your film for what you're going to run. Going to run out of time. But, hey, it's looking up, guys. It's looking up. Let's be confident. Let's be happy. Go
Attaboy, Jacob from Fresno.
Come on, man. Bringing that fire.
I just
like
wish you'd
always.
show a little emotion.
Just a little bit of excitement.
Yeah,
man. Goodness gracious.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm checking my watch over here. No, I'm kidding. Jacob, that was awesome, man. I love the energy.
He doesn't need a sleepy tea after that call.
No, heck no, I don't need a sleepy tea.
That was like an espresso.
Get me on right. Fired up over here, man. Good stuff. All right, next up, let's check in with our buddy in St. Louis. He is Jay.
Murf, Swaggo, Michelle. I just got one thing to say. Oh, this is Jay from St. Louis. But if I could channel my inner performer, I want you all to shape your mullets and groom your mustaches. 'Cause what you gonna do when Minshew Mania runs wild on you, brother? Woo! Go Raiders!
Yes, let's go, dude. As the great Jim Rome used to say, get in, get out, have a take, don't suck. That's perfect right there.
It was.
Jay in St. Louis, man, that was awesome. Appreciate you calling, brother. Let's say, all right, so we got one more to get to. Last one here is our good buddy, Kevin the Raider Nerd.
What's up, Raiders Fan Radio? This is Kevin the Raider Nerd. Shout out to the lovely Michelle, Swaggo, and of course, Mr. Murf himself. I just want to say I had a great time in Las Vegas last Friday night, hanging out, of course, with Murf and Swaggo. Huge shout out to Josh Camonite there for Raider Dad. That was a great charity support. It was great to be there as the Raider Mando there, and just seeing all the cool kids excited for being part of Raider Nation and getting into the game for free. Huge shout out to Josh. You're doing so much awesome work there. It was great to see it happen in person. It was really nice to see all the family members together excited, but more importantly, just the impression that these kids are going to have on Raider Nation, not just the game itself, but being around family like that, extended family we call Raider Nation, and that was just wonderful to be part of that. Also, I want to give a shout out to Fabricator Gil for his generosity, getting us the tickets with his season tickets and hanging out with him with some really great seats there at Allegiant Stadium. It was fun to hang out and watch the game with him, and of course you, Murf, and Swaggo. A lot of fun there. Regarding the team, I just want to say I'm excited, obviously, for Raider football that's coming back. I don't know how well we're going to do this year. I know everyone's made their guesses and such, and I just hope that we make progress. I would like to be over 500 this year, maybe squeak into the playoffs. I don't have a lot of hope that that's going to go far into the playoffs, but I would love for this team to surprise me. Now that we got Minshew, you know what? This is his time to prove me wrong and prove everyone else wrong, that he can, handle the team from day one and take us to the promised land. So I really, really hope that happens. But I do still have questions there. I actually have more questions about the run defense and what we saw during the preseason. Yeah. I'm a little spooked about that. So hopefully that will tighten up with all the starters that we'll be playing and stuff. But overall, I'm really, really excited for this team. I just want to mention I never want to see Nathan Peterman dressed in silver and black ever again. I'm more excited about maybe having Carter Bradley come back to the practice squad. I hope that happens. Maybe by the time this show is aired, that'll happen. I just like what I saw from the kid. But I was happy for a lot of the other guys that did squeak onto the team, and the team overall looks pretty good. I was happy for Keaton and McAllister. But back to RFR, guys, I had a great time. I'm really excited for this season, and looking forward to calling in and paying attention and just being a fan again with you guys. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good time as well. Let's go, RFR family. Let's get ready for the season. Go Raiders.
Heck yeah. That's a pro's pro right there.
Yeah.
Sure is.
That's a pro's pro. Jordan Ford in there says you can tell Kevin does podcast because he's got a podcaster voice.
He
Respect.
does.
Absolutely, he does. And not only is Kevin a great podcaster, but man, he's a great super fan.
Yeah,
Sure
Man, loved seeing him out there in his Mando gear with little baby
too.
Yoda.
I mean, it was hot out there.
Man.
It was hot, and he's in full costume and never gets out of it. When he would want to take a drink of water, because a Mandalorian never takes his helmet off in public, he would walk around like behind the truck. So that there's a kid, not one kid ever saw him. Actually, probably not one person ever saw him with his Mando helmet off. And I only saw at the game he took it off twice, and that was to eat and drink, and that was it.
Yep.
Yeah, really committed, man. Kevin's awesome, man. He's the best. He's become not just a good friend of the show, but a good friend of ours outside the show as well. So thank you, Kevin. We love you, man.
Absolutely. So thank you for everyone that emailed. Thank you for everyone that called. Let's start the and at the end of the Sea of Fans.
Yeah, we award
we award a Sizzler for the best emailer or phone caller of the night. So we started the night with some amazing emails from Slatus, Vegas Raider Pete, Hooligan Nation, Backwoods Raider, James Williams, and Paul. And then on the voicemail side, we had Donovan, man. We had Storm. We had Josh in the 703. We had Houston Raider Steve. We had Jacob in Fresno, Jay in St. Louis, and Kevin the Raider Nerd. But let me tell you something, brother. There's only one person that's getting the Sizzler tonight, and that is Jay in St. Louis.
Sizzler. 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 Sizzler.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Cheddar Bob.
That was Dylan Lobby, right?
Yeah.
Cheddar Bob? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You know me, I love some stats.
Oh,
So,
Okay. Hit us with some stats.
I'm going to hit you with some parting stats.
Okay.
Okay. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat room. First and foremost, our buddy Jesus of Alum Rock, Kenny Clark. We're going to shout the whole chat room here in a minute when we get out of the show. But I was during Storm's call, I was reflecting back on it here and the disappointment that he has with the addressing of the quarterback. And I pulled some stats here, and I think these are important to consider as we go into this season. Okay. Completion percentage on passes of 20 or more yards. Okay. Best in the league is Brock Purdy. Okay.
Okay.
55% completion percentage on passes of 20 or more yards. Okay. Do you want to guess where Gardner Minshew comes up on that, Jeff? If 55 is the best in the league.
See, top 10?
Just outside of it.
Okay.
You want to guess the percentage?
46.
You're off. It's 37.
Okay.
It's so significantly low compared to Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy is by far and away the biggest. Tua is the only other one with a 50%. It's in the 50s.
Okay.
Everyone else is in the 40s, including Derek Carr, right at 40%. Okay.
Okay.
So he's basically in the same wheelhouse. Aiden O'Connell is at 31%, Michelle.
Okay.
So Gardner's deep ball is better.
Yeah.
Okay. Still not as great as you would like to. You'd like to see it up there with, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, 48%, right? But 37 is not that far off. It's not that big of a jump. You want to get to Brock Purdy level. That's a massive jump. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's up there. Not as near as much as the jump that Aiden would have to make. And for everybody who likes Derek Carr, well, it's right there with Derek.
Yeah.
And Derek throws a pretty good deep ball. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So to piggyback onto that, the next phase of it, the highest rate of incompletions due to inaccurate passes traveling 10 or more yards. Okay. So passes that are 10 or more yards that are incompletions because they were just bad passes.
Okay.
Okay. So they weren't catchable.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know who's at the top of the list, Michelle? Any guesses?
10 or more yards.
10 or more yards, a bad ball that was not catchable by the receiver. Aiden O'Connell.
Oh.
He's tied with Kenny Pickett at 50%.
Oh.
Okay. Right after that, you got or a few down the list after Bryce Young and Jordan Love. Jordan Love, who just got a big old fat contract, by the way, 46.6%. Well, Minshew's right there with Jordan Love at 46.3%. And you know who's right behind Minshew, Swag Jeff?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr at 44%. So you kind of get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Like, this is not like these aren't atrocious numbers. These aren't. These are slight improvements are required here. These are not big jumps that were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last thing I'll give you is this, and here's why all that is important: is that for Devontae Adams and his performance last year, he was targeted. Remember all those tombstone balls we heard about and all the. Okay. Last year, Devontae Adams was targeted 26 times on deep balls of 20 or more yards. Okay. 20 or more yards, he was targeted 26 times. He had 0 drops on 26 targets, but he only caught 4 of them. You know why? Because 60% of them were inaccurate. That is the most of any wide receiver in 2023 and 2022 and 2021 and 2020.
Damn. Oof.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
You know, he hates that fucking stat. Oh, sorry. That. Yee.
You're damn right he hates
Ooh.
that. And that's where he could get disgruntled quick. But I don't think that's going to be the case because
I don't think so either.
I think that, and this is where all the people that were talking about the endorsement of Aiden O'Connell by Devontae Adams, and we were saying, no, wait a minute, hold on. He said a lot of things about Gardner too. That's why. Those three numbers right there, that's all you need to know about. Listen, it may not be the highest in the league, but it's a considerable jump ahead of what Aiden O'Connell was. And I'm not telling you Aiden can't get better. He's a young man. He could certainly get better, but he's not going to get better today.
Yeah.
Gardner's that
Right.
good today and has an opportunity to improve, Jeff. And that was my last point that I wanted to get to before we get
Absolutely. Well, and and I'm fired up, and I can't remember who said in the chat, so forgive me because I'm going to kind of quote you, said, Gardner Minshew did really well in Jacksonville, and then Trevor Lawrence happened. He did really, really well in Indy, but Anthony Richardson came back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not had an opportunity to be the guy. So let's give him a chance to be the guy and see what he does. See what the guy's made of, man, because he's got the leadership skills. He's got some skills that are comparable to some of the other good quarterbacks in this league. So give him a chance to be the guy and be behind our guy. He's our guy.
Do?
What else are we going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What's better than that?
What's better than that?
Well, I love Jordan Ford in there in the chat room. Michelle says, at the end of the day, like I said weeks ago, we're getting a less accurate, more mobile, cheaper car.
And
that's
at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
That's what it
Some
is.
areolas and, what are you going to do? What's better than that?
What's better than that?
All right, let's get on out
At
of
the
here.
end of the day.
At the end of the day. I appreciate you, Raider Nation, so very, very much. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat room tonight. Thank you to all of those of you that donated tonight. We appreciate you very, very much for supporting our nonprofit, the One Nation Foundation. Thank you for being here. We're off next week. We won't see you next Wednesday. We'll be off, but we will be back the Wednesday after that. And then we're going to be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. for by far the rest of the season. And we've got a couple of road trips coming up where we're going to be doing live shows with Scott Gilbranson. We'll be doing a live show from Mojo's Tailgate probably. You're going to see a ton of us, man. That's in Tampa. And so look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you for supporting Raiders Fan Radio, One Nation Foundation. We love you. Michelle?
Hey, thanks for hanging with us. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit the like button. If
Press
you have
the button,
friends
nerd.
that are Raiders fans, share the podcast with them. Like, we would love to see more people in chat. So thanks for the One Nation Foundation donations. And man, you guys rule. Raiders football's back.
Come on, man. It's back. It's back. And much respect to everyone that donated tonight.
Yeah.
I can't scroll all the way back up and see, but there was a $200 donation from Intel. I know Fabricator Gil, Hooligan Nation, El Capitan. Can't thank you guys enough for the donations because like my two buddies here said, it all goes to the One Nation Foundation. So we can't thank you guys enough. Thanks to everyone that's in the building. Jordan Ford, Paul, Edgar Hernandez, Gianluca Morelli, Raider Cam, Raider 27, Yoshi, the whole crew, man. Jordan Ford, congrats on your Sizzler, my friend. On behalf of Murf, on behalf of Michelle, my name's Swag Jeff. You've been listening to Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. And don't forget, boys and girls, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland. We love you. Much respect.
Get out YouTube!
Goodbye.
I'm going to get my butt looked at now.
Ew, gross. I was going to say I hit the post on that, but that might mean something a little different for your colonoscopy.
It's going to hit the post, all right.
Oh, it's hitting the post.